We made it.
Oh,
Did we really, though?
We made it back.
I'm not convinced.
We're made it back.
baby.
Heck yeah. Guys.
Yeah.
Daddy J's here to take the podcast back over.
Daddy J.
no.
What
Yeah.
does that even
Nope.
mean? Is
Daddy
that
A?
you?
Big Daddy?
Jackass.
What should I call myself? I need a
Not
name.
Daddy
Daddy.
Juno?
Why would
Not
it be
Daddy
Daddy
J.
J?
No,
That's
J for
terrible.
the J is for Jackass.
That Daddy
It's
Juno.
fine.
Thank
Is
you. Ooh,
that-
Daddy Juno. I'll take that. All right. Thanks,
No,
Chad. I appreciate
don't
that.
like that.
Daddy James.
Daddy James. Ooh, it's my alter ego. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate
Daddy
that.
Jim.
What?
Yeah.
Daddy Jim? That sounds...
Really good. Like,
yeah.
Really
mhm,
cool.
Yep.
They all sound bad, if we're being honest. So I mean,
They do.
what's
Wow,
one
how
more
dare
of it?
you?
He's just aggressive like this all the time. You know him.
That's true.
Really
That's true.
hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Forecast, a bi-weekly podcast about everything games, film, and news. I'm Aaron Juno.
Alex McCausland.
I'm Ben Diaz.
I'm Caleb Juno.
I'm Chad McCausland.
And I'm Jake Fetterkyle.
On today's episode number 206, more studios and teams were disbanded. Russia fines Google just a small amount of money. And one of the best board games you've never played gets another expansion that we're all excited about. Plus, we mentally prepare for Extra Life Game Days this year. Ben beats Elden Ring. And of course, we've been playing games. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us on our social channels. You can check out our website, WeAreTheHorizon.com. We have a ton of original content for you to browse through, including our multi-arc including our that gets stuck in my head every time, including our new Pathfinder 2e campaign, Crown and Conquest. Additionally,
multi-arc.
everything we talk about is in our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. All right.
Aaron, why
Let's
you
get
hate
into
me?
it.
Why you do this to me?
I thought that's what your
You've been
text
gone
meant.
for so long.
I thought
You
that's
come
what
back
your,
and you do this to me.
No, I thought that's what your Discord chat meant. Cast today? I thought that meant I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've finally beaten Elden Ring.
That's everyone in the Elden Ring lore knows that cast today means I finished Elden Ring.
Yeah.
That's what we say to each other.
Ah, so this is a miscommunication. I see how it is.
Alex has been lying to us for months.
Got his ass.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, you know what it's time for? Guys, I listened to the last few podcasts. I listened to the last few and I was so sad because you get to the point where you're like, Alex would go, well, I guess we don't have any game trivia thing. Aaron usually does here. I have a list. We've already done it. I did a list. That was what I was planning on doing. We did it already. So here we are again. I got another list. I loved it. It was good energy. I'm proud of everyone. But this is what it's time for.
Oh, boy.
We're back.
Finally.
Aren't you guys so pumped?
I
Yeah.
have never been more excited in my life.
I'm pumping up the jam over here.
Alex, don't be looking on this screen, by the way. Don't you be cheating.
What?
I know sometimes you keep
so much hostility. What?
Well, wait, I wasn't looking anywhere. I was trying to make sure all of our streams are good. And they are.
So mad. Oh god.
Get called
All right.
out.
I gave you your buzzers again because that's important for this game. It's very important. You got to have a buzzer in order to be able to buzz in. Welcome to Video Game Indomitable Gauntlet, the trivia game where the game's real, the score definitely matters, but the game master still can't build puzzles. VGig, as we call it, takes our cast members' video game knowledge and puts it to the test. This is Gauntlet number 4. Let me go over the rules and details of the game before we get started so everyone's on the same page. And so I remind you, since I haven't been on this podcast for like 3 months.
We thought we were finally rid of you.
I know. You thought wrong. In number 1, in the Gauntlet, players will be presented with a trivia question and can buzz in at any point. Number 2, players get 10 seconds to guess after buzzing in. Vital answer is not necessary. 3, each correct answer is worth 1 point. Incorrect answers means you're out for that round. 4, the round ends after correct guess. All players have guessed incorrectly or 30 seconds, whichever comes first. 5, the timer is paused after a player buzzes in and resumes after an incorrect guess. 6, the game master has the final say, but most of the time, guesses don't have to be exact in this version. Don't forget that. Number 7, the most points at the end of the game wins the title of the Real Old McDonald. Yes, the Real Old McDonald. Number 8, we will try out our test sounds to make sure everybody's synced. Yes, chat, so you can tell me that in 30 seconds you're going to hear this sound. It's really important.
Isn't
Yeah, he heard it. It's so long ago. He's like, now.
isn't Caleb the only real McDonald? He's the only one who had a farm.
Oh.
You know, Aaron and I are brothers.
Yeah, but you're the only player. Aaron's running the game.
I see.
Yeah. Aaron's married. Caleb's the only player.
Daddy J wouldn't be caught with a farm.
Oh, shoot.
Terrible.
Oh,
Okay.
I hate it so much.
Let's bring up the scores so we can remind everybody that Alex has won 2 games, Caleb has won 3, Chad's 4, Jake top of the leaderboards with 6 W's, and Ben finally getting rid of the Easter egg with 1 win. We are all so proud. I got
I don't know if I won
I
4.
did it.
I feel like I've won none.
Do
You've
I still
won
run
so-
scores on this?
Hey, Chad.
No.
Hey, Chad.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Let's talk about the title of this one, which is Just Farming Hours. Yes,
Oh, boy.
yes, Just Farming Hours. I was thinking,
It's based on Chad's library.
yeah, exactly. I was thinking about a conversation that Alex and I had just literally last night when I started working on this, and he said to me, or I was saying, I really wish we would have streamed Betrayal at House or Betrayal Legacy when we did that because that was like really cool content. And he goes, "Oh, but you were so scared about getting copyright infringement." I was
That
like,
is
I
what he
was.
sounds like. That's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
like he's here.
What an accurate imitation of me.
It's like I can still hear his voice.
It was annoying. I didn't like it. But instead, what I decided I'd do was make sure we did something so that I got copyright infringement.
Mm.
So here we go, boys. Buckle up. What I've decided to do for this week is we're going to listen to some title screen music.
Oh.
Yes, these are
Oh.
all less than 30-second clips, and we are reviewing them, so fingers crossed we keep this going, but here we go.
It's fair use, baby.
This is
Fair
gonna
use.
be tough.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right. All right. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
Okay. There are 25 clues this week. I wish everyone good luck. Here goes the first clue.
Pretty, like,
Oh.
This is about video games, right? Not movies. Just checking.
Caleb.
Kingdom Hearts.
Caleb. Come on now.
8 seconds left.
Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
Hmm.
Did you just guess?
Yeah, I'm highlighted.
Oh, it didn't pop up on here.
Guess it doesn't count. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that counts at all, Alex. I'm sorry. Ben.
Is it by any chance Super Smash Brothers Brawl?
And we are out of time. The answer we were looking for is Overwatch.
Really?
Wow.
That's what that sounds like?
That's
Alex.
hilarious.
So like
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
nerd
That is
song, or-
embarrassing for you.
Gosh, you hate to see it, guys. I'm so sorry.
Well,
So sorry.
My
Okay.
buzzer-
That
my,
one.
my buzzer
It's gonna
working,
be
by the way.
bad.
Yeah, it just didn't show me highlighted on this side. It's fine, though. I can watch the screen and see where you're at.
Hmm.
All right. Clue number 2. Here we go.
Hmm.
Jake.
Undertale?
That is correct.
Megalovania.
Yeah, so wait, is it menu music?
What it's supposed to be. Menu or title
No.
music.
Okay.
That's
I
gonna
didn't think
suck
that song
for
was
me.
in the title.
That's just a song from the game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The first setting that I do in any video game that I open is I turn the music down to almost not audible. So like this is really gonna be bad for me.
I feel like
Yeah, this-
just the first note of that one could have played and somebody would have got it.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have gotten it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some of these are easier than others. And I think, okay, so when I was doing research on this, some of them are just specific to the title song for that specific release. Other ones are specific to what plays at the menu, which oftentimes is also the title song.
Mhm.
You may get a little bit of both. All right, one on the board. Here we go. Alex.
Uncharted.
Oh.
Nice.
It's like the main theme for like all of them.
You gotta pick them.
Also,
Yeah. Uncharted
timer-
4.
the timer
Correct
didn't get
choice.
reset.
Oh, I hate to see it. I'll
Drake's
give it to you. It's
Fortune.
Drake's Fortune. You guessed
Okay.
right with Uncharted.
It's
We'll give you
it
1
is
point
the
for that.
same song in all the games, like slightly updated every time.
All right. Here we go. Next clue. Ben.
Is that Halo 5?
It's
Ooh, Chad?
Baldur's Gate.
Caleb, last guess.
Elden Ring.
Oh,
I was pretty sure that was wrong.
Is it an Avengers game of some sort?
it could
It
be.
is not.
Okay.
It is, in fact, the answer we were looking for was Titanfall 2.
Ah.
I haven't played that in
That's
Yeah,
been
that was-
long.
10, 20
That's a
years.
tough one.
you know?
That was a
What a
tough
good
one.
game.
That is a tough one.
Yeah, I can't make them all easy. Some have to be difficult. All right, here we go. Next clue. Caleb?
That's Tomba 2.
That's
No
freaking
way.
yes!
That's a cheat.
That's
A cheat
You
answer.
got that so
So
fast.
fast, man.
This is
Oh
like
my
collusion
gosh.
or nepotism or
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking texted him.
Len, listen, when you played one of the best games ever made, you just know when you hear that sound.
I didn't know it was called Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to get him out of there.
Exclamation mark.
TM. They had to trademark that. They make sure nobody else took the evil swine return.
All right, next clue. Here we go. Alex.
The Last of Us.
Wow. That is correct. Another easy one. Good guess, though. I love that intro song, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's so excellent. They did such a good job on the show as well, on the TV show. Good guess. Next clue. Here we go. Jake.
Team Fortress 2?
That is
Nice.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done.
Nice guess. Good guesses all around. Good guesses all around. Next clue. Here we go.
Ooh.
Ben.
It's Wii Sports.
Guys, Ben's on the
Great
board.
He's on
job.
the board, baby.
That was quick.
That was very quick. That was a very good guess. All right, here we go. Next clue. Somebody better get this one or I'm going to be upset. Caleb.
The Guitar Hero. Okay.
Chad.
Hi-Fi Rush.
That is
Nice.
correct.
I was like, it
Nicely
sounds
done.
like generic rock music. I don't
Oh.
know.
Well, Guitar Hero.
rock.
It's too
No,
generic for Guitar
The
Hero.
problem is, I think
Mm.
Guitar Hero's menu music is just the songs in Guitar Hero.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
I
not-
change it
yeah.
every time you
It's
log
just
in.
a song.
Like loops through. Yeah, that makes
Uh-huh.
sense. Next clue. Here we go.
Every once in a while, you know?
Ooh.
Caleb.
That's Hollow Knight.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
I've
Good
only
guess,
played
good
that on the
guess.
Steam Deck, so obviously I don't hear the music.
It's okay, Chad. Me too.
All right, we are 10 clues down. Here is clue number 11. Ben.
The Elden Ring.
Is this one
Chad.
Baldur's Gate 3? Dang it.
Caleb.
Is it Divinity? Original Sin?
It sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! No, I already guessed.
I hate to see it, Ben.
Was
So
it?
sorry.
Just out of curiosity, was it Liza P?
No, it was not Liza P. In
Okay.
fact, the answer
Good
we're looking
though.
for is Frostpunk
So it's not
wow.
familiar at all.
Yeah, I've never played that.
I think I'm the only one who
Good
might
game.
have played that, and I did not.
I think 3 of us have played. Good game, guys. If you ever want to play an absolutely just ludicrously difficult city builder,
Mhm.
city management builder, city.
City builder.
Hey, you know,
Sure, I guess city builder. Yeah,
first person shooter.
yeah, first person shooter. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, next clue. Here we go. Benjamin.
Is this one Super Smash Brothers Brawl? Okay.
I thought it was too.
Alex.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Jake.
Is it Super Mario Galaxy?
I couldn't. I
Fucking
couldn't.
all the Mario games sound the same.
I
Yeah,
was like, it's
I wasn't
definitely
sure.
a Nintendo property.
Mm.
No.
Damn it.
Wasn't sure which Mario.
Yeah.
Not one I've played.
Next clue. Alex.
Shoot. Is this one Baldur's Gate 3? Dang. I went too fast. Oh man.
I haven't a clue.
Jake.
Is it The Witcher 3? No.
I was gonna guess that.
Ben.
I guess Divinity Original Sin 2.
We are out of
I
time. The
know
answer we were
this
looking
one.
for
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Is-
sounds really familiar.
Dragon Age Origins.
Dragon
Alex.
You just played it!
I know. I know.
Hate to see
I was
it.
like, I was sitting here. I was like, I just listened to this. I mean,
uh-huh. Yeah.
and for some reason, I was like, God of War. I don't.
Man,
Yeah,
you got
totally.
to the button like a millisecond before me, Jake, because I was gonna say Witcher 3.
Yeah, it was something. It was a fantasy something, right?
Yeah, right. All right, here we go.
I don't know
Chat.
why I pressed this. Man, there's 2 choices right here. Is this one Baldur's Gate 3?
One of them's got to be, right? Oh,
Caleb.
is this Nosgoth?
That would have been fun.
Okay.
There's
Very fun.
no way.
I mean, it sounds like it.
Oh, I
Does
know
kinda.
this. This is gonna bug me.
I'm just guessing. I'm gonna guess God of War.
Oh, so I was about to guess.
Hmm.
Nope, good thing I didn't.
Till the song runs out. I'll let you buzz in. Time
Team
is
playing
up.
I've listened to
The
that one
answer
a
we're
lot
looking
too.
Is World of Warcraft.
Oh,
Man.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think if I wow. Yeah, I don't know,
yeah,
man.
that was it. Wow.
This is like once you see it, like once you see the title card, you're immediately like, oh, yep,
Mhm.
yep. I can place my like me looking at the screen or looking at the title screen with this song in my head every
Yeah.
time.
If you
I
played
wanna
it
go play
like
WoW.
at decibel, like negative decibels, maybe I could get it. Because you know,
There's like a big green portal sitting there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Next clue.
Wait.
Caleb.
It's Command and Conquer, but I don't know which one.
Wow.
I think it might be Red Alert
Ooh.
2.
Wow.
Oh. I was like, I don't remember that from Red Alert. Didn't play Red Alert 2.
Oh man, Red Alert 2 is so good.
It's a very good one. It's a very,
pull.
very good one. That was a tough one, too. All right, here we go. Next clue. A lot of fantasy music.
Mm.
Jake.
Skyrim.
I thought it was for a
What?
second too.
Oh, is it Oblivion?
Caleb.
You son of a
Wow.
bitch. Damn it.
Yes.
You kind of get this for the Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario
Yeah,
Galaxy
yeah,
guesses. So
Yeah.
That's fine.
give
I
back
just need to
my
give
guess.
one to Alex.
Yeah. I'll try. Next clue.
Oh fuck.
Caleb. Man.
I actually don't know this. I
I
thought
like
I
to
did,
guess first, but
it's
then it's
gone.
like, oh, I know what it is. I press the button too early and
It's just
we're
gone.
incorrect. You guys press so early. All right. Ben.
I think is this Tetris Effect?
Oh,
Alex.
It's just Tetris.
No, it's not base Tetris.
It's not base Tetris.
It's
Wish I
definitely
hadn't
not base
clicked the button.
Tetris.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I
guess
don't
the
know.
other Tetrises, guys.
I don't know what other
other
Tetrises
Tetrises.
there are.
What's the, oh, it's the new one with the oh god, I can see it in my head, but I'm blanking on the name.
Is it
Jake.
called? Is it called Tetris 99? Is that the one?
Oh.
Wow.
Thank you.
Where
everyone,
did you
for the
pull that
layup.
one out from?
You're welcome for the assist on that.
Oh, no.
It was a team effort.
Good
It
job.
felt, man, it felt wrong giving out a check like you got this right for just Tetris. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it.
I mean, you
couldn't
didn't
do
give it to Tetris Effect.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's a remix of the
it's-
song.
It's a
Mm.
very
makes sense.
very different game.
Yeah, it was very clearly not base Tetris. I was just like, God damn, I can't remember
Yeah.
the name of that
I'm
new
like,
one that
it
got
is the
really
Tetris
famous.
melody though. Like
Yeah.
I don't.
Mhm.
90, I forgot 99's the one that got real famous recently. It wasn't Tetris
Yeah.
Effect. That's an older new one. It is
Here
a
we go.
remix. It's just not the newest one. So many cellos in video game music.
Yeah. Everything's starting out on a low string.
Ben.
That's Halo. Or do you need more specific than that?
Mm-hmm.
I use that in
It's
everything.
okay. There's only a
Wow.
few Halo games.
I think I'm wrong, but I'm going to say Halo 3. Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
got in one.
First try. Nice guess. Nice guess.
I was like,
All
what's
right.
the Halo 3 is the most famous one. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, you kind of have to. You kind of have to. All right, this is clue number 19 out of 25. Right now we have two people at 4, Jake and Caleb. Here we go. Ben.
That is Pokemon. Specifically, that's the first gen. I'll say yellow, I think. No, shit, it's not yellow. Oh, no.
Do they not have the same music?
They're slightly different. They remix it a little between gens. I'll say
I'm gonna give you a
The-
second here to like just put your thoughts together and give me a solid answer.
shit. All right, I'll say Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Change gens.
Jake.
I'm gonna go with Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
Red and blue. Yeah. mhm.
Mhm.
Either
Oh,
one.
it's the music from Fire Red. Ah! I because original Red and Blue, it's way lower quality, which is why I didn't think it was.
Mm.
That screen is wrong. It's Fire Red.
You know what, Ben?
That
For the,
upsets me.
okay. All right. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. I'll take it. I might dole out a bonus point. We'll see.
He was
okay.
still. He said Ruby.
He did say Ruby.
I know.
He said yellow and Ruby.
Yeah, he said yellow and Ruby.
Fire Red did not enter
might-
the equation.
Well, in my defense, yellow is the same gen as original Red and Blue. But
I take
but
it back.
then you
Ben,
said
you're
no,
wrong.
no, no. You said two different. It's another game.
well, because I said yellow and went, no, that's too high quality audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go.
Whatever.
Jake.
Red Dead Redemption.
The guy is
nice.
unstoppable. Woof.
He's got it. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
How do you know? How do you
I
know
thought
that?
somebody would get that one from the bell. Just the bell.
Yeah,
alone.
well, I was
It's-
like, it sounds like a cowboy thing, and then play a little more, and I was like, definitely a cowboy thing, and it's not too, I don't think.
Yep. All right, here we go. This is clue 21 out of 25. Ben.
That Doom.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
Well done.
good
very
ears.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Barely played that game. I just heard angry electric guitar.
How
and
long are you
assumed.
guys sitting at the menu screens?
Just farming hours, dude.
Bro, music's off. I'm in the game before you even take a thing at it.
You're in some games. You're not getting into Black Ops 6.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
Next clue. Ben.
That's Kingdoms of Amalur, isn't it?
Wow.
I was
Good
really
job,
hoping I was
Thought
going to
you'd
get
get
you.
it by me.
I could do it once, but not twice. I got it. Okay.
No,
all
not
right.
again.
All right. Never, again.
Kind of sounded Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I was thinking Final Fantasy. That's funny.
Oh, man. All right. Next clue. Here we go. Jake.
Is that Super Smash Brothers Ultimate?
Man.
Didn't play
Shush.
I tried.
Oof. All right. Well, I guess we can battle it out for second place between Caleb and Ben because no one can catch Jake at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Next clue. Alex.
Kingdom Hearts? No?
Jake.
I believe that's Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh,
Holy crap!
yeah.
Mhm.
I see why you thought Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
quicker. He's just quicker. I had the
Okay.
answer, but he's just quicker.
We're gonna have to graduate you up to the game master, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a player so that
Yeah,
everyone else
I'll run a few. I'll run
gets a
few.
chance.
Mhm.
All right, this is our last clue, number 25 of 25. Here we go. Caleb.
I'm just gonna go Baldur's Gate 3.
Wow.
Jake.
I believe that's Civ 4.
That's crazy.
Quit. I quit.
I played
Four?
a lot of
That
Civ
one's
4.
nuts.
Did you, Jake?
my-
I did, yeah. Because you know it's the part. Oh yeah, Julia, and it just got that song.
Yep, that's it. That's the song.
Civ 4.
Yeah. It'll get there in a second. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this is it.
It's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
You just
I love that
destroyed
song.
us.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Wow. 9 points goes to the real old McDonald Jake, who is now 7 W's. That is, yeah. All right, we're going to have to talk about you being the GM for a minute.
All
I
right,
think
yeah.
It's a handicap.
I think that's the most dominant performance we've ever seen in VGig.
Yeah. That's even
Maybe.
more dominant than we did when we did Ben's library and he lost.
Gosh.
The camera
camera
follows.
pan.
I'm just listen. I'm just proud you did not get Kingdoms of
Kings
Amalur
of
past me
Amalur.
a second time.
I really thought with the amount of like fantasy and cello
I
before
literally,
then,
I hit the button and I went, wait, am I just optimistic? Am I wrong?
Mhm,
I think it
mhm.
is.
Man, and Baldur's Gate 3 never showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was guessed constantly. Oh,
Ugh.
good guesses all around. All right, let me take us back.
Man, I gotta say, it's a travesty that you guys can't hear the Hollow Knight soundtrack while you're playing that on Steam Deck because, man, that's one of the best soundtracks around.
I mean,
It's a
I
jam.
used earbuds.
Oh, good.
Like I could hear it decently.
Okay.
I feel like it's one of the best soundtracks ever made.
Ever.
Yeah,
So good,
It's no
man.
Kingdom of Amalur, but
Yeah, because it's good.
got a point
Oh,
there.
God,
oh,
his ass.
fuck yourself, Caleb. No,
God damn.
All right,
Kingdoms of Amalur had a very
Family,
mediocre
it's pretty fun.
soundtrack. It had a mediocre soundtrack. I'll give you that.
Oh, okay.
That's not why I like it.
So generous.
let's get into podcast stuff. I want to start this off segment right off the top just to talk about Extra Life Game Days with an S, which is happening this year. We're not doing a 24-hour stream this year. In fact, we're doing 2 days, 30 hours of streaming. Starting on this Saturday, November 2nd, we'll be streaming from 9 a.m. to midnight. CST, not EST. I don't know why I wrote that there. And then also on Sunday, 9 a.m. to midnight CST.
And we're just switching time zones, you know, first day, second day.
Yes, yeah, sure. Yeah, just to add some confusion. If you've ever joined us for one of these before, it is absolutely the most fun that we have every year, except for when we're done, and then we're all exhausted and we have a miserable next day. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time, because we're not staying up for 24 hours straight gaming. I don't know.
Well, you're not staying up for 24 hours straight.
I was just gonna stay up.
Alex is just going to stay up the entire
Yeah,
time.
those of us who are
Yeah.
cowards are just going to keep playing through
Wow.
that first
Damn right.
nighttime.
This is going to be a
All right.
39-hour stream right here.
Uh-huh.
Ben.
Yeah.
How much do I need to donate for you to just keep going from midnight until the following midnight on Sunday?
Ooh, that's a really good question, because there's a dollar amount where I actually do it.
Think about it. Think about
I'll
it.
think about that. It wouldn't go well
Um,
for me, but I think I could pull it off.
I'll do it.
You just
$50.
do it just to say you can do it. What did you say? 50 bucks?
is what he said.
I'm about to donate $50 right now. Holy cow.
You gotta ask for more than that.
Yeah.
It's $1,000.
$51.
$1,000.
You already said 50. You're already committed, my guy. I just wanted to note a couple things. Obviously, we love playing games. We're going to be playing things we've played in the past, like Human Fall Flat, where we just absolutely pummel the puzzle until we beat it through brute force. We don't solve anything. We're going to play Monster Prom, which we play every year. We have a blast doing that. We're also playing some new games, and we're going to play some games that just probably shouldn't even exist anymore, except for communities keep them alive. And so we're gonna try and play one or two of those. And, see what happens. Also, we will have games that Alex has suggested and inevitably become the worst game of the entire stream. It's just
I'm gonna have no sneakers this year. Confirmed.
we'll see. We'll see.
Mhm.
No More Room in Hell 2 is still on here.
Oh, I
We'll
forgot
see
about
it.
that one.
I still
Uh, I think I'm gonna commit to say Last Train out of Wormtown will be fun.
You mean Tremors Return to
Wow.
Tremors Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Which
can't
is-
call it Last Train
Which
out of
is
Wormtown.
when we were planning the one that you were like, okay, here's Alex's weird stuff.
Allegedly. Anyway, come back, check us out. 9 to midnight Central Time, both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be playing. If you want to donate, everything that gets donated goes to Extra Life, which is a part of Children's Miracle Network. We do this every year to raise money for them, and we've raised, I forgot to look up a total number, but last year we'd raised over $27,000. We've already raised $7,000 this year, so we're close to 35, which is pretty freaking impressive. A couple of us participated in Extra Life United and won some money, but we would obviously love to hit our $10,000 goal, so stop by if you can. Love to hang out. We'll also have, some fun, cool little interactive things like a spinny wheel. You can make Alex take a shot of something. Hot
We
sauce.
have a spinning wheel?
Oh, we do. Yes.
Oh, now I'm
I'll show
excited.
you. We'll get to that technical test later. We'll
Okay.
Everybody will get some
also-
hot sauce and some Malort.
Yes, that's going to be the only thing on the spinning wheel. Just those two things. It's going to be
That's rough.
90% hot sauce, 10% Malort.
And then there's a tiny sliver that's both.
Yo, just mix it together.
Yeah.
Ugh.
To
Can
be
you
fair, it's
imagine,
probably
like-
better than just Malort.
Well, you're only going to taste Malort still, but it's going to be spicy Malort.
True, true.
Gosh, can you imagine hot sauce that's Malort flavored? Like ashtray hot sauce? That minty ashtray hot sauce. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
just some Malort buffalo wings.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Anyway, stop by, check us out. Please donate. We'd love to say hello. Also, right off the top, Chad, do we have a community question? A little CCCP action?
We do.
Ooh.
So, a couple of us have been playing Black Ops 6 Zombies, right?
Yeah, a few of us.
So this question comes from Zombie Killer 99. And it is, where is the best place to hold up in a zombie apocalypse?
Place in a zombie apocalypse. That is a tough question. I think the answer for me has to be I would pick somewhere out in like a remote island
Mm-hmm.
where they don't really have there's no airstrip. Maybe a boat can get there, but no airstrip. We'll say like one of the small islands in the Marshall Islands. I'm pretty sure I can fish and survive, and I bet there's rainfall to collect water. I'll be okay.
Just hope it doesn't turn into Dead Island.
Yeah, that would not be great. Hopefully, if a boat crashes there, it's got a couple zombies. I can just kill those couple zombies. There's no other humans on this island except for the 6 of us. So as long as you guys don't get, bitten, we're fine.
I got bitten before I came to the island.
Yeah.
Jake!
And he's been hiding it. He's been hiding it too.
Classic. Love that trope. My favorite.
Man, I
Always
just said
wanted to be
it's-
that trope.
I just said that it's the 6 of us on this island. Now I'm trying to imagine in what scenario specifically the 6 of us end up
Yeah.
on a small island.
We're on our way on a flight, a very small flight to PAX West or to a PAX Prime.
Yeah.
This
And we
podcast
took-
becomes successful. We actually have a studio.
Ooh.
Mm.
Oh, we got that PAX Prime panel. We got that
That's
panel.
where we got our own.
Yeah.
Oh.
We get the panel, and in celebration, somebody books us. Like somebody has a friend who's also a pilot, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take you guys." But he was bitten before we took off, so we have to kill him while we're in flight.
I still don't know
And
how
then-
we get over an island going to
we
PAX
take the
Prime.
We're on our
long
way to
way
PAX
around,
Prime. That's in
is the thing.
Australia.
The long way. Oh, okay.
Well, PAX Aus is in Australia.
I thought that was
Indeed,
PAX Prime.
indeed.
That was
PAX
tough to
Prime is in
discern.
Seattle.
That's
God damn
tough.
it. Well, I mean Aus then.
Seattle, we're just traveling across mainland USA.
It's PAX Aus.
PAX Aus. I'll take that. I like that.
If you were where you're at now and then had to do something,
Do I
like
have,
you're not getting to an island from
do I
Kansas
have my
City.
current
Oh, that's
amount
true.
of money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now, today.
Like
you have
right
to go.
now.
It starts.
Right
what
now?
you gonna do? What you got?
Die, I guess.
Die, I guess.
A ditch? I don't know. Yeah.
I did.
Call it. It's like, yeah, it's been a good run.
I mean, it feels kind of antiquated, but a mall has a lot of food and stuff.
Also
Yeah.
got a lot of
Here's the
people,
problem.
though.
Mall only works
Have you-
until you run out of food. You can't farm in the mall.
It has a roof.
Oh, well, then you can farm if there's a roof.
Thank you.
What?
I rest my case.
It
I
probably
mean, I could actually.
the
I could
mall,
think about farming on a roof.
the mall
Seems
probably
fair.
has supplies to farm with also.
Yeah,
Thank you,
got like
everyone. Eat shit, Ben.
it probably actually specifically has
No,
like
this is-
garden pot things that you can like put onto the roof, and then it
Yeah.
probably has dirt somewhere in one of the stores, and then it has like
Mhm.
seeds in another store.
You're
What
fine.
mall are you going to that has a Lowe's attached to it?
Man, that's a good mall if it
It
exists.
would be, but
I
it
mean-
doesn't exist.
You think Sears has all that?
Does Sears
Probably.
still exist?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Does Sears still exist?
The closest thing I've ever seen of that is there's a mall not too far from me that I think had a Dick's Sporting Goods. That's the closest thing I can think of, and it's not close.
As of September 2024, there are 9 Sears stores remaining.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
One of
Are
those
any of
nine,
them
then.
near us?
It's getting blockbustered. Nice. Nice.
Getting blockbustered.
I think I'd like if it's just like what I have now. I think I'm probably just gonna get in the van
Yeah.
and drive out to some remote place
Yeah.
in
There
the
you go.
middle of New Mexico or Wyoming, which are the 2 least populous states in the United States.
Somewhere with a
Yeah.
well. You're good.
Yeah.
Do I have time to print out instructions from the
Somewhere
internet on
with
how to fly a plane?
Wait, you don't have that like all of the internet on a Raspberry Pi with a whole bunch of
Yeah.
SSDs attached?
With a solar battery.
No,
Yeah.
just I have a lot of the internet, not all of it.
Oh, not
I'm
all
not
of it.
keeping track of plane flight manuals.
Got it,
Why
got
am
it,
I
got
not
it.
doing that? God, I'm an idiot. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, yeah. Allocate some space for that, Ben.
I really should.
I really want to make one of those actually just for fun. It's all the
Mhm.
information you would ever need.
Oh, in case, yeah.
And it's like on a Raspberry Pi and you can power it with a solar pack.
And I guess a screen? I don't know.
Yeah, you get like a little mini screen attached to it.
What happens if an EMP goes off?
Well, if you
Good
keep
point.
the Raspberry
Yeah.
Pi
Idiot.
off all the time, it
You-
won't break it when the EMP goes
Well,
off.
you store it in a Faraday cage
Oh,
until the
Mm.
apocalypse.
he's
So
got
is
it
this
again.
an actual question? Like,
Or-
how do you keep the internet around when the zombie
Or,
apocalypse?
Again, EMPs only fuck with things that are actively turned on.
Oh, true. You have this
So
in
they
the
do all
dream,
the
though, right?
time.
So when the Earth floods from all of the
Oh.
ice that surrounds Earth, of flat Earth, when it melts and it
Mhm.
floods the Earth, what are you gonna do then, Alex? Huh?
This is a zombie plan.
Checkmate.
Stupid. He's got
I
a
mean,
different plan for the
Do
flood plan.
EMPs only affect things that are turned on?
I believe so.
They still affect magnetic things too, I believe.
Magnetic
Well,
things.
I think like magnetic memory, I think we get wiped, corrupted at least.
That's true. Yeah. So if you've got, so what that would affect hard disks, HDDs, but not SSDs.
I just remember in War of the Worlds, I think it was starring Tom Cruise.
Oh, the best War of
this
the
is gonna
Worlds.
be good.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
He had to like
Realistic movie right there.
he had to jimmy like all the cars were dead because of an EMP, but they weren't necessarily running. They're just like in people's driveways. But then he had to go find like a working battery and stuff, and then like fix up this car so that he could drive.
So this is where you're getting your information.
Yeah.
War of
Yes.
the World
Yeah.
starring Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's how
cool,
he's going to
cool.
survive a zombie apocalypse. He's just going to think back on what he saw in that specific War of the Worlds and be like, yeah, this is what I'm going to have to do to survive.
They probably did their research.
I
I
was
have to guess.
incorrect.
Yeah,
Turning
yeah.
them off does not protect it from EMPs. I was wrong.
Mm.
Faraday cages do, however, protect them.
So we're back to the Faraday cage. Okay.
Faraday cage. So
What we could
Faraday
do is-
cage plan is a go.
We don't have to be back to the Faraday cage. We could be back to the original question, which was, how would you survive a zombie apocalypse and where?
If
I
I'm
guess that's
here-
part of
the
that.
whole-
If
Okay.
I'm here with all you guys, I'm going to your parents' place.
Honestly, yeah. Our parents' house is a pretty good spot.
I'll see you guys later.
Caleb and Alex show up at
I don't have a
their
camper
parents'
van,
house.
so-
Aaron's
Yeah.
just gone.
Actually, technically, there's another one sitting in the driveway. It's just not complete, but we can build it out together.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're going to show up at my parents' house, Alex, and they're going to be gone because they're going to have gotten in the truck and pulled their camper out to somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they not out in the middle of nowhere currently?
They kind of are, but there's definitely like a couple small towns and there's people. If you go to the middle of like New Mexico, there is actually just nothing.
Yeah, I
Just
don't know.
empty, dry land.
I don't know where I'd go. I'd have to drive really far to get away from people.
Yeah, you would.
Like I am not near middle of nowhere.
I think you're just done for.
Man.
You guys are
Zombies-
just done for on the East Coast.
Zombies would probably do really poorly in the cold, so I think driving north
Yeah.
And
probably
the
a good
zombies
idea.
climb.
I was wondering like if you just went up a mountain somewhere.
Are we talking
Mm.
like? Well, hold on. Fast or slow zombies?
Slow.
Slow
And-
zombies.
Horde zombies like World War Z or just regular zombies?
It's like
Ooh.
regular zombies.
Like
That's
Shaun of the
less-
Dead zombies?
That's less concerning.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Like The Walking Dead.
If it's Shaun of the Dead zombies, we can probably go next door to the bar, the pub. We'll be fine.
Just wait for it all
But
to
memory
blow
serves
over.
me right. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'd be zombies that can't actually move because muscle density and such.
Mm-hmm.
Zombies will be a problem for a little while, and then you'll figure out how to manage them. And then the real monster, that is the human, will be the problem.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We were the real monsters all along. Is that what
No
you're trying
problem.
to say?
Just shoot any people you see.
It's like most zombie movies. The moral is like, actually, it was humans that were the monsters the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Checks out. Checks out. Cool. Well, thanks for that DCCP, Chad. I appreciate it. I'm sorry we got off topic. I don't know whose fault that was. But Yeah.
Happens.
let's talk about a few things in news world. First and foremost, that Russia has decided to fine Google just a small amount of money. Alex, maybe you can extrapolate a little bit more on this. Or I don't know who put this in here. Is that you? What's
Yeah,
your
it's
color
me.
anymore? Okay, all right.
So the story is Google banned a bunch of Russian media from YouTube a while back, and Russia didn't like that. So they've been like fining them for a while because they think that shouldn't be allowed. And somewhere in one of the fines, they decided that the fine would double every week. And now it's to the point that they are trying to fine and sue Google for $2.5 decillion.
Sure.
Which is an absurd number. Like decillion is like the 10th one. So like million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, like all the way up to the yeah, like
You're not gonna do all of them?
sextillion,
Wow.
You can
septillion,
say
octillion, nonillion, something
Is
like
it
that.
nonillion?
I think
Something
that's
like
right.
that.
Decillion. So yeah, it's just an absurd like number of dollars, because like all of the money that exists in the world combined doesn't even put like a dent into that number. Like the total GDP of the planet is estimated to be like $100 trillion, which is like a fraction of a percent of 2.5 decillion. So it's just funny. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Like Google is just ignoring it, which is the funny part, because there's
what
no
else
way
could you do at this point.
there's no way you can enforce it.
Are we
And,
block, block Google? It's Google.
Yeah, like they've basically pulled all of their services from Russia at this point anyway, so like they don't care if Russia does anything, and Russia can't force them to pay an amount of money that doesn't exist. So it's just a funny number that's going to keep on going up, I guess. Russia will keep on shaking their fists into the wind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Their hammers and sickles.
If you look up nonillion, there's it has two different number values. One, if you're talking American English, is 1 followed by 30 zeros. If it's British English, it's 1 followed by 54 zeros.
What?
Yep.
That's not
Is that
numbers.
19? I don't know what 54 is supposed to be.
I don't know. It just says
Decillion is 33 zeros. I know that.
Mm.
we could math it out, but that's going to hurt my brain. Oh, that makes sense. Huh. Weird. A decillion's a lot of money, I guess, is the moral of the story here. Odds that
That's
they
an
pay
understatement.
anything ever?
Like 0.
Yeah, okay. All right. Cool. Is there something that's like an alternative to YouTube in Russia?
Probably.
They have their own search engine. I know that. That's not Google. I don't know if they have. They probably have some video hosting site. I don't know if it's the same company or not.
Rumble.
Use Vimeo.
I think Yandex is their like search engine.
Hoping it was Ask Jeeves.
Well, Google, while they are going to not get fined, Microsoft, one of the other tech giants, has decided they're not going to get fined either, so they might as well raise how much their CEO is being paid.
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense during this time. Right, Ben?
So I want to just open this up by reminding everyone that Microsoft in the last year has laid off about 2,500 people.
Okay.
And they decided that, they're doing good enough this year after laying off 2,400 people that they're going to give their CEO a 63% raise.
I mean, how much was he
Just-
making? 50,000 a year? That's not,
I could do some math. I know after the raise, he's making 79 million a year.
Oh.
Jesus.
It's
Why do you
like-
even
it's
need
like-
that much?
It's like what? You just gotta lay a bunch of people off, be like, oh man, we're not making enough money to justify these people working here, but like definitely making enough money to give this guy $80 million.
It just gets to the point where it's like, what could you ever possibly do with that amount of money?
It's kind of insane, and I saw that news article, and I gotta bitch about that because
Yeah.
it's dumb.
I wonder, so we've talked about layoffs multiple times from a whole bunch of different studios. I wonder how many of those studios throughout this year have given a pay bump to any of their C-suite execs or director level execs at those companies after layoffs, because I bet the number is higher than we would guess.
Yeah. What a time to be alive, huh?
Capitalism, baby. Capitalism. Okay, well, that's all in news. We don't have to be depressed about CEOs making more than us. Let's talk about something we are excited about, which is spending money, all the money we definitely have on a new Root expansion.
Yeah. So they launched a Root Kickstarter. This is a little bit old news now. But there's 2 new factions coming out. It is I should have pulled this up. It's like
shame.
bats and frogs.
Ooh.
The frogs, it's the frog diaspora, I believe.
Ooh, that's good.
And it's the bat, like the Nocturnal Assembly, Twilight Council. Okay,
Twilight
I was
Council.
close.
That's a much
yes.
better name than what
That
you
is
were
a good
going to say.
name. Yeah.
Twilight Council.
Mm-hmm.
The
Dude,
Lily
so-
Pad diaspora.
Lily
Ooh.
Pad Diaspora.
Lily Pad
excuse me,
Diaspora,
yes.
The
That's-
Knaves of
that's better as
Deepwood is a
well.
third one.
Oh, I didn't see the third one. Interesting.
Are they?
What are the knaves?
Are they? They look like skunks, maybe.
Yeah, the picture on the Kickstarter is a skunk.
Hmm.
It's just. So,
Huh, okay, I
do
don't
they
know
have any,
anything
like-
about those ones.
do they have any early details on like the play
Yes.
style? Because that's what I
Uh,
love about Root is how different the
mhm.
factions play.
So they did actually talk about. They did like dev design like things that they sent out, like a design diary essentially, where they were talking about like how they were trying to figure out how they worked. The Lilypad Diaspora actually add a new suit into the game. You can put like a little frog token and change the suit of a clearing, and it sort of changes the way people interact because it has like two sides. You basically have like a peaceful frog side and an angry frog side, and it like affects that tile because obviously people who play using the suits are going to be different.
Hmm.
And then the Twilight Council is sort of interesting because they're sort of meta like narrative reason for being there is they are trying to like stop all of the fighting. So they declare these like edicts that they somehow use to try to influence the board. I read the design diary on this one, and I read a lot of things that they decided they weren't going to do, but I didn't feel like I got a really good handle on what they ended up with. But it sounds very interesting, and I didn't know the Names of Deepwood existed until 10 seconds ago, so I will read this design diary while we talk about something else. Or Alex read it faster than me.
I've only read a little bit, but they use 3 of the Vagabond character pieces and meeples, and it says they reconceptualize and expand on the Vagabond.
Hmm.
Oh,
Jeez.
that's nice. For anybody who listening to this has never played Roots, it is kind of a masterpiece in its own right for game design, because I've never played anything that is so asymmetrically unique between different play styles of like your character. In this case, it's different factions, but they're so unique, and yet somehow every game I've ever played is close. There's like maybe like 1 or 2 people who win, or like get like ahead of the rest of the pack, but every game I've played feels competitive.
Yeah.
It's always like, man, if you would have
Everything?
let me hit my turn, I would have won.
I mean, you can't play the River Folk, Caleb. It's just part of it.
I love them so much. They're my
Ben
favorite
won with
faction.
Riverfolk first time he played them. I don't know.
Wow.
Caleb
They're
can play
so
wrong.
good.
I think Caleb's just bad. I don't know.
They're bad if no one interacts with you because they feel like not interacting.
Have you tried being more likable?
Yeah, I wouldn't have interacted with you either, honestly.
Exactly.
Are you just asking him in general?
I mean, for the game was more what I meant, but sure.
Yeah, sure.
Also, Chad, I love this cat cam. And,
Yeah, it's really excellent.
it's the best.
It looked like he was about to fall asleep for a second there.
Anybody who's only listening to this podcast needs to go watch the. Do we post the videos of these, right?
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Okay, can we post this one because they need to go on and watch this cat? It's adorable and it's orange and I love him. What's his name?
His name's Flynn.
Flynn. Oh,
Flynn.
Was Flynn
Love
watching
you.
us?
He heard his
Are we
name,
on the
like,
central
what's
monitor and he
that?
was watching us?
I was moving my mouse back and forth.
Flynn is
No,
a sweetheart.
He looks so cute. Sorry, I've derailed the podcast for cats.
It's okay. We're used to it, Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I wanted to talk about 2 things in film world. First and foremost, I don't know if you guys have talked about Joker 2 at all.
We haven't. Why?
You have to.
Why would we?
Yeah.
I'm just
we
interested.
should.
I'm not
to.
saying, like, has anybody ever even seen the first one?
I saw the first one.
No.
Okay, saw the first one. But
Pretty
you
good.
didn't see the second one.
Correct.
Neither did, like, all of America,
Yeah,
apparently.
I mean,
so
it
that checks
flopped
out.
so hard.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about 2 things that I find interesting. One, the style, like what this movie's type is called, which is an American jukebox musical psychological thriller film.
Those are words.
That's just
That's like how. Is that how other people describe it, or is that how you describe it?
that does sound like an Aaron description.
That's totally me a description. No, this is I'm reading Wikipedia right now.
Oh, I
Good
see. I
old
see.
Wikipedia.
Did you edit the Wikipedia page for this film?
I did.
Okay.
Function 11, and I just like edited on the fly. So if I have to show it screen share with you, you'll believe me. but it's there. I promise. Yeah, American Jukebox musical psychological thriller film, and I wanted to bring up. Jake already mentioned this, but this movie's flopped so hard. Last I checked, it was sitting about a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they were about estimated to be $150 to $200 million short of breaking even.
Mhm.
Which, that's a little bit of money. I guess in the grand scheme of the whole arc of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, they're still in the green because the first movie had a budget of like $50 million, and they made
Sure.
over $1 billion on
Oh
it.
my god.
That one was
Why
a pretty
was-
good movie.
Why was the budget for this one so much higher?
Lady Gaga's in it, my guy. She ain't cheap.
Is
That's a
it just
choice.
her? Man, that is because
It's all Gaga.
the
All of
budget you're talking about for what they're missing in this movie is like the budget of like an Avengers movie or something.
Right. I think
That's crazy.
the first film was, and I could be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure it was filmed in like a short period of time. It didn't have a lot of people in it, and it was shot like mostly on location, and they didn't use a lot of like additional stuff in it. So they didn't have a lot of set up. They didn't have a lot of extras. And this movie apparently has like a ton of stuff in it and a ton of stuff going on just in general. Plus, yes, Lady Gaga's in it.
Mhm.
Joaquin Phoenix, I'm sure, wanted way more money for this movie considering how much he probably made on the first one. If it
Mhm.
was a $50 million budget.
Right.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of money to lose on a film. And it's also a bold choice to completely change the style of film for a follow-up to a movie that made $1 billion and be like, all right, we got this.
Bold, yes. Good, no.
Yeah.
You know what I find interesting about Rotten Tomatoes is that both the critics and the audience agree that it was a 32%.
Wow. That's
And
rare.
if you look at Borderlands,
Hmm.
because I was like, I wanted to see where the range was here. The audience is like, it's a 51%, and the critics are like, listen, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. It's 10%.
Mhm.
Like, it is so bad.
Mhm. Man, I'd 32%. That is rare, unless it's really high. Pretty
Mhm.
rare. Anyway, really interesting. The other movie I wanted to bring up is It's What's Inside, which is a new thriller film that Alex and I watched separately. It's on Netflix.
Why can't I say it like that?
I don't like.
Yeah.
You didn't
Alex
go
and I
on like a
watched-
little date night?
Together.
We sat right here.
Yeah.
It was a cute little date. We had a couple nice glasses of wine. It was
Aw.
great.
We've watched
Um,
plenty of movies together at the same time in the same room.
I know,
No,
but-
that sounds made up.
Anyway,
Used to do it monthly.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Little date night. I like it. Yeah.
I would encourage you, if you're looking for something that's in like the sci-fi world / thriller, this movie is a really fun, unique take on like a not a common trope, but a fun trope for thriller films. And they do such a good job of executing, not only keeping the viewer in tune with what's going on, keeping track of what's going on scene by scene, but also just delivering on like the landing, the end of the movie landed so well. Like you can walk away and you're not like unsatisfied, you're not frustrated. It's very much so just like a quality landing for like a really great thriller film.
Yeah.
Alex, I don't know, maybe you had a different opinion. But
It's just like it's a cool, fresh concept that manages to like do what it wants to do and not overstay its welcome and nail the ending of the plot, I think. So
it's kind of rare. They do a good job. It's What's Inside. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Cool. So I think this is this guy's debut film too.
Oh.
Directorial debut. So check that out. On to some video game related stuff. Boy, this is gonna make me sad because I literally just read it right now. Why has Ubisoft decided to disband the Lost Crown team? What are we doing?
Great
Apparently,
question.
I mean, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, really. It didn't sell super well. That Epic Store exclusive game that they launched to almost no advertising budget
Yeah.
didn't do as well as Ubisoft, I guess, hoped. So they just said, yeah, no, Get rid of that
I
team.
almost feel like you had to be a fan of like Prince of Persia already to know this game was coming out.
Yeah. And even
Kinda.
then, it's not like a mainline Prince of Persia game. It's a spin-off,
True.
essentially.
Mhm.
Like,
There's
It's
probably a reason they're bringing all their day one releases back to Steam. What I'm guessing.
genuinely, I think
Yeah.
between this and, well, I don't think they gave a shit about this. It's probably more Outlaws that informed that
Yeah.
decision. It's just, I think it's so funny. Ubisoft just continually falling flat on their face. Like, they finally put out, I feel like they've put out nothing but mediocre games for like years.
So long.
Yeah.
And then they finally put out a banger, and they do their best to bury it where no one can see it. Like their secret shame.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're like,
I
oh
would-
yeah, Far Cry 6. That's the big
Oh,
money
yeah, this
maker.
is
It's like,
their-
guys.
I would argue this is their second banger that they, decided to cover and not advertise for. First one was Hyperscape.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah.
That was such a good game. And honestly, if they just, I don't know, released it to consoles earlier or like, made it to where like people knew about the game, like I think it would, it was a free to play game. Like people just needed to know about it.
Mm-hmm. At least this one's like still available for sale and you can go buy it
Sure.
and it's still
Mhm.
good. And also, at least they didn't fire everybody. They just like dispersed them to other
Yes.
studios, I guess.
That's good.
Mhm.
Which is
It
better.
a positive,
Okay.
I
Well,
guess.
yeah.
Sure. Hey, stop
But-
working on the cool stuff you're working on. Go work on the lame stuff that we want you to be working on.
Golden
Yeah.
Bones.
It's still, it's
Mhm.
unfortunate, yeah, that the one team that did something cool
Yeah.
in a while at Ubisoft is
Because it
now.
wasn't a quadruple A game.
that's
Yeah.
the problem, yeah.
It's funny, you were talking about how this like was the sort of Epic Store specific release, and that's why it didn't really land well. Which we all knew about this game going into it, which is why multiple of us bought into it.
Mhm.
Just looking at the store, I'm now realizing they have a DLC that landed in October that I did not even know about.
Wow.
Because of
That's
course,
wild.
who opens the Epic Store?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah. I did daily a while ago because of Fortnite, but still, I literally don't even go to the store section. I'm in my library
Yeah.
every time, and then I'm like, all right, so what do I want to play other than Fortnite? Goes back to Steam. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta click through the Epic Store.
That's so frustrating. But,
Actually, I saw a tweet recently where Ubisoft was, trying to do its like little PR. They're like, what's one game that 100%ed that you're the most proud of? And somebody replied and was like, in recent history, what's one game that you developed 100% of the way through?
Ooh, got him.
Oof. Wow.
Absolutely brutal.
Yikes. Get got. They're not the only studio though that's having some fun, issues. The other being Firewalk. And these are the guys who make Concord, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
That banger of a game.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel bad for the Concord team, honestly.
Man.
But yeah, they officially got shut down. I think today the news broke, actually, that they're shutting down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to add to that, I guess.
It's just insane. I can't
The story of that game
comprehend.
is just wild.
I can't comprehend the amount of resources that they put into this, and they're just letting it go.
I did really think it was going to come back free to play. With how quickly they took it down.
Yeah, because
And
they didn't even really give it a chance to like find its footing.
I kind of feel like what happened was they took it down really quick, and it was like, okay, figure out how to make it free to play. And so Firewalk went and they did it, and they were like, okay, here's our roadmap. And Sony said, nope, never mind.
I
Looks
wonder if somebody
expensive.
did the math and they were like, all right, 700 people bought this game. Our servers cost like quadruple the amount of revenue that, or like whatever. Like
Mhm.
the servers just cost way too much. Like, so take it down. Like,
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure Sony has like server farms they have available
Hmm.
that can spin up and down Concord servers as needed, and it wouldn't like cost them a ton to do that.
you would think, right?
I don't know. They spent in excess of $200 million acquiring the studio for this game.
Listen, they just want this to be swept under the rug. They don't want to ever talk about this ever again. They
And
want us to forget.
it's just the craziest story I think I've ever heard in video games. Just like
It's the craziest timeline, and like all the things that
How
happened along
fast
the way.
it happened.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Like you talk about, oh, here's a game that is not going to do well. Probably next year they'll shut it down or whatever. 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks is unheard of.
Do you think Sony, like one of the people in charge of just specifically this division, got wind that because the all-time peak was less than the launch day peak of Gollum, they were like, guys,
Yeah.
this is embarrassing. We have to
Pull the
shut this
plug.
down. Yeah, just while we're ahead, shut her down.
It's man. People memed it too hard, maybe.
Man,
You know what I bet it was?
So
I bet it was
confident.
your review, Alex. I think that's what caused it.
Yeah, somebody listened to the
They-
podcast. It's crazy now because I've played like an hour of that game in beta, and it's like I'm one of hundreds of people
Yeah.
in the
Hundreds.
world that's ever
Hundreds
touched
of
Concord
thousands.
or ever will
Hundreds.
touch Concord.
Yeah. It's lost to history now.
I thought for sure it'd come back free to play with a ton of microtransactions.
Mhm.
It is like set up for it. I don't understand what they would like. People are like, oh, it would probably take too much work. I don't understand how much work it would take because there's already like cosmetics built in and like all this kind of stuff. They just had
Too
it
much-
like
too much
freely
work, Bob.
available or available through grinding in the game. Like switch
Mhm.
those values around.
Oh, just make it to where nothing can be grinded anymore, and then
Mhm.
everything's a microtransaction.
Also, we
Like
have
anything
that.
Anything that you could unlock through like a free battle pass or something. Nope, that's paid now.
I mean, the issue is there's not another game that exists that has a model that works for this type of game that they could
Mm.
Right.
mirror it off
Right,
of.
That's
right.
true.
They can't
Yeah, this
learn
was-
from anybody in the.
Mhm.
No.
They stood alone. They were so unique.
Yeah. No wonder they failed.
People are like I've heard people talk about Concord like, oh yeah, they're just trying to enter a market that's like too crowded. And I'm like, bro, Marvel Rivals is gonna launch and do great. Like
I
you
mean,
can
it is true.
you can
Yeah.
enter this market and do well. Like you just did it wrong. I don't understand.
Okay, but like realistically, how many hero shooters are there out there right now? I mean, I know of Overwatch, Marvel Rivals; those are the big ones. But
Mhm.
Marvel
You
Rivals not
got
even out yet.
Paladins, of course.
Okay,
Oh, God.
Paladins.
Does Apex Legends count?
I would say that's more BR.
But you
Yeah.
do pick a hero, right?
You do.
Sure.
And it's a shooter.
But if I want to play a hero shooter, I'm going to play Overwatch. And if I want to play a BR and I am a hero shooter kind of guy, then sure, I'd play Apex.
Sure.
It plays really different.
Yeah.
It does.
There's several of them happening. Like Fragpunk is trying to do something in that arena.
Yeah, is that the cards one?
Yeah.
Seems cool. I mean, Valorant. I would consider Valorant a hero shooter, but it's just a
Valorant,
CS:GO-y style
Yes.
Yeah.
Cornered the market on tactical hero shooter.
Yeah. one. Like,
Is like
really
Rainbow
can't
Six
think-
Siege a hero shooter?
You know what? Yeah, kind of.
I mean, there's other ones that have come and
It-
gone, right? Like
It almost
Lawbreakers.
doesn't
Was
matter,
that not
I
also?
think. I think it doesn't even matter if they're technically hero shooters. Point is, that's Concord's competition, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
sure,
whether or not it's a
sure.
competition, people want to play a shooter game. It's like, okay, these are the games that are
Yeah.
already out there doing it, you know?
Yeah. Why would I want to be a slow warlock when I could go be a fast warlock in Destiny 2, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, TF2.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
TF2
DOG.
still around.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Still got plenty of players.
Did the
Plenty of
okay? So
bots.
I saw
Yeah.
that they there were about 210 people who worked in Firewalk Studios. Does anybody know if those people were redistributed or if they were just let go?
My guess would be let go, but I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't read anything about them getting
I mean,
placed
I
elsewhere.
Man,
I don't think Sony has anything else in their portfolio they would even move them to.
that's
You know what
rough
I mean?
too, because like you don't keep Concord on your resume, right? You just like erase that you ever worked at Firewalk, right? Like you
Mhm.
go to your LinkedIn, you delete that, you know.
Yeah, I didn't work for 4 years. I just didn't do anything.
No.
Stone
You
Cold
better-
nothing.
You probably
Concord on
still
there.
put Concord
I was
in.
just, finding myself.
Mhm.
You're like, I technically shipped a AAA game, I guess.
I mean, okay,
Shipped and then
so
recalled.
if you actually look at it from like a top-down perspective, it's probably not the developer's fault.
I mean,
almost
for
like
sure.
It's probably like the C-suite that like messed everything up.
Mm-hmm.
I think almost exclusively. I mean, they intended
right.
you have to buy this game first of all. It's not microtransacted and like not free to play, which would have
Right.
been great. Plus, they released it around the same time there was another beta going on for a game that was intended at that point, or at least they were talking about making it at that
Uh-huh.
point free to play. So it's like, well, if I'm going to pick one, it's going to be in a
I mean, the
universe
bit-
where I have a bunch of
man.
existing characters that I can play as, and it's going to be free.
I think the three most recent coming out was Concord, Marvel Rivals, and Deadlock. So like,
Mm-hmm.
like Concord,
Yep.
both the other two are free.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
Concord's just like, nah, dude, pay for me.
That's
I'm
why I
like,
think-
are
I
you
mean-
Call of Duty? Are you what I pay for every year? No, let's go away.
Whoever said, I think you do keep it on your resume, I think you're right. Because I don't think this is a
Yeah.
thing where you blame it on, like, it's
Mhm.
not about your inability to develop a game. It's
Right.
about your company's overarching
Right.
decision to say, we're just not going to continue this model.
Honestly,
We're
it's a
gonna
good
do
conversation
something
starter. Oh, you worked for Firewall. What happened there?
else." Yeah.
To be
Well.
completely fair, I don't think many people really liked the game.
What's
Yeah.
many people? 697 peak. Only
Yeah.
hundreds of people have ever
It just-
played this game,
I
Caleb.
mean,
Ever since the very first cinematic trailer, people were down on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
But,
Everybody
okay,
was like,
so-
"Oh, it looks like budget Guardians of the Galaxy."
from a marketing standpoint, right? This is my opinion. I didn't touch the game because I knew it was going to be a pay to play game. Like even if there was like a closed beta, open beta, like I'm not touching it because like I don't want to pay for a hero shooter when there's Overwatch and Marvel and other things that I want to play right now. So like I'm not. So I bet you a large majority of the people who did not play the game were similar in thinking of just like there's other things. Like why would I pay for Concord? Why do I even want to try the beta or the
Right.
whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh well. A couple other things in video game world. City Skylines got a fun update. Ben, you're pumped about this, right?
Well, it's not so much the update itself that I'm pumped about. It's more just interesting. So the update itself is mostly they're creating some new map packs and releasing for it. The reason I wanted to talk about it is City Skylines. 18 months ago, they announced that they were done with working on City Skylines because they were going to be releasing City Skylines 2, and we're just focusing on that. A year ago, almost exactly a year ago, they released City Skylines 2, which is almost universally disliked. And almost everybody who played City Skylines 1 is like, the second one's just not nearly as good, and most like avid players are just still playing 1. It's mostly just really interesting to me that they're doing this because it feels kind of like they're giving up and going, okay, yeah, we know you still just like 1, so we're going to go back to producing things for it. It's just kind of funny that it'd be like if they're about to release this new Dragon Age game and then, a year from now they go, oh, by the way, here's some more DLC for Inquisition. It's like, why? Why would you do that?
The choice.
Are you acknowledging that your new game is just worse in most ways? I don't know.
Yep.
It's just it's a
Might as
very
well.
interesting timeline that they're doing here. The DLC itself is some interesting looking mountain map packs that let you build cities on like mountain cliff sides. I guess that looks pretty cool. I'll probably check it out because City Skylines 1 is very good. But
It's very good, and it's going to be a 10-year-old game next year.
yeah,
Wow.
it's still really, I think City Skylines 1 is still crushing the city simulation market, like
Yeah.
city builder market, including crushing on their own sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny. That's all. Don't really have a whole lot to add to that. It's just an interesting thing that happened.
Wild.
Yeah.
Chad, what's going on in Destiny World? I'm sure you've only played like a few minutes of it since the last time I was on this podcast in August, but
Oh God, I was about to say I haven't played much of it, but then you said August, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. Well, you missed all the updates from last episode, so we won't go into like the new dungeon and stuff like that. But because of the new dungeon, people have been farming, and there have been people going absolutely bonkers with quote unquote conspiracy theories, which we're starting to think, and with the what is it called, the messages that Bungie's been putting out, they're not conspiracy theories anymore. So what has been happening is Destiny 2's perk gate, as in like the perks that are on the weapons and stuff that's happening with them. So from this Forbes article, there is something that is happening with the APIs and where the perks land, and the chance that you'll actually get that role. So this says the bizarre explanation seems to be based on how the columns of perks are listed in the API. If the two perks are next to each other, one space diagonally away, it's a 1 in 24 chance of getting the pair. So you're like, all right, cool, yeah. But if they are the max of 3 spaces away, it rockets to a 1 in 454 chance. So basically, if you're looking at
Rough chance.
the list and you're looking at 2 perks that you want, if they're like 3 spaces away from each other, don't even bother trying to farm it because something in the API is messed up to where it's just like never going to land there.
Wow.
So, there's
what a weird thing to like analyze and get to the point where you're like, there's a discrepancy here between.
Yeah. What's wild is there's this guy who has this whole, like, I haven't read through all of this, but like I just found this Google Doc of the person who brought the attention to this. And he has like this grayscale picture that like I've been seeing all over the internet, kind of showing like the different probabilities. And also just, I mean, if you want to read through this, like I'll toss this into the chat there. It's the findings he does, the things he does, it's wild. It's wild stuff. This dude had a suspicion and he started cracking down and farming and man. Which actually, I mean, I can kind of lend him some of my scientific research, which it took me 322 times to get my 2 perks to roll together. I haven't looked actually at what the Matador looks like when it comes to where the perks are on the API. But I would assume that they'd be pretty far away from each other. Which is threat detector and opening shot. It's only 2 spaces away from each other. I should have been able to get it in a little less, but
Well, you're just unlucky.
I was just unlucky, yeah.
I guess like the other part of this is that the community has been yelling at Bungie for a long time whenever there's like a really hard drop to get about perks not being uniformly distributed. And Bungie's always been like, all the perks have the same chance to drop on a weapon. Which is true, I guess. But
Just all perk combinations don't have the same chance.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the thing that they've finally figured out, why it feels so bad sometimes and not other times.
Yeah, because sometimes you just go in, farm out like 2 times, you get what you want, and you're like good to go. And then like the rest of the community is also doing that, but then other times it's like, whoo.
And I guess it's like also potentially like Bungie doesn't know about, like it's not intentional.
Well,
right.
Maybe it's you lay off the person who actually designed this. Kind of hard to figure out what's going on.
It's a hard thing to debug too, kind of.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Random
Don't
stuff.
defend them, Caleb.
I mean, it is.
What are you
It's hard to
talking about?
debug.
I'm gonna have to go through and read this. There's some like really interesting things in here. You look down towards the bottom at like the bittersweet, and the distribution of the amount of specific perk combos in this. There's one perk combo that has almost 32,000 registered weapons with that specific combo, and there's another column that has 1,400. Now, like, what I don't know is if this is like currently active versions of this specific weapon. Like, okay, maybe people don't like this specific combo, so they're just disassembling it.
Yeah.
Right, so it doesn't exist in the system, and so pulling that gives you skewed data. I don't know, but there's a lot of perks in this sort of middle row that kind of follow exactly what you said. It's like 1 to 2 away, and like you have a very high chance of rolling it. Further away, more difficult. Yeah, I could see that. That's wild. And Caleb, you're probably right. Also, probably very difficult to figure out and debug.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to really do it is to just like spawn a bunch of them and count them all and do some statistics and determine that it's not correct.
Statistics.
Goodness.
Last but not least, in video game world, I want to talk about this real quick. Is Nexus mods with some policies on paid mods through the system. Ben, this sounds strange because I'm wanting to use a free mod to mod Oblivion. I'm gonna have to pay for it now. Like, what's going on?
No. It's mostly so Nexus mods has ever since games like Skyrim have released ways for people to show off mods and actually get paid for it. Nexus mod has kind of had this back and forth conversation of how they want to handle situations like that because Nexus mods has always been pretty firm on stance if we want all of the mods on our site to be free. But there's been a lot of back and forth on how they want to interact with those paid mods. So after it's kind of been a back and forth for years now, and they've finally released some. These are our policies on how we're going to handle this, which is a couple things. One, I mean, they're still only allowing free mods on Nexus Mods website directly, but they are allowing people who release free mods to link to other locations if they have paid mods. So if you have a paid mod, say in Skyrim's creation market, I forget what it's called right now, then you are allowed to link to that from your page of other mods you've released on Nexus Mods. However, they've got some other rules for it. You are not allowed to post a free mod on Nexus Mods that is a demo of a paid mod. So you can't make a paid mod and then go, oh, I'll release a free demo on Nexus Mods. Not allowed.
I like that.
You're also not allowed. This is the one that more people are kind of questioning and upset with. You are not allowed to release any mods that are patches or have dependencies of other paid mods. So let's say there's creation content for Skyrim that's something cool on there that's a paid mod, and it puts in new content in Skyrim, but it's a little buggy. If you release you are not allowed to release a free mod on Nexus Mods to patch that paid content on Skyrim because it is fixing or you are releasing a mod that is dependent on a paid mod. Now they do say that does not include stuff that is released by the developer themselves. So Skyrim, they call it specifically, if you buy there's so many versions of Skyrim. I want to say the anniversary edition. Then that actually comes with some paid Creation Club content that was released by Bethesda themselves. Thank you. Blanked for a second there. So that is excluded because it's actually created by Bethesda. You are allowed to release patches for that. But
Interesting.
if somebody wants to release a mod that changes what the horse armor looks like, can't do that. Horse armor is released by a guy, or I think, example.
So they're trying to prevent encouraging of people to leave Nexus Mod site and go buy mods elsewhere.
I think that's what it sounds like. They're trying to. They've basically said they want to keep. Their goal is to keep modding as open and available to everybody as possible.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're trying to do that by cutting down on mods that have paid requirements.
It seems
Trying
like
to be
their
like
whole goal is everything on this site is completely free, and you can download any of it and use it for free.
they don't want any situation where it's like, oh man, there's this really cool mod I want to download. Oh, but in order to use it, I got to pay for this mod on this other site. You know, it seems like that's kind of their goal to cut this down.
Interesting.
The biggest feedback they're getting right now is a lot of people, because there has before this, a lot of people have released like patches and fixes and things for paid mods that were released on other platforms, you know, because they're not always great. And sometimes people are like, oh, here's a patch that fixes that. Now, a lot of those content creators are like, do I have to pull these off the site now? Like, I'm not charging for this. This is just to fix another paid mod. But They're kind of complaining like, do I have to pull this now? Can I not put it up there anymore? And I don't think they've responded yet. This is news from basically yesterday. They released all this stuff, so it's pretty new. I think this doesn't really change a whole lot with how the site's going, but I think, in my opinion, this is a good policy to have. I like that they're trying to sort of enforce, listen, if you're going to make mods, you need to make them available to everybody. You can't pay gate them behind other, even if you can't put a paid mod on our site, you can't, pay gate them from other sites.
It does kind of seem like they're just like drawing a line in the sand. They're like, look, we get it. People want to charge for mods, but here's the deal. If you want to do it, you got to do it on your own site. And we don't want any tool on our site that would be an encouragement to have people leave to go buy mods. So you can't put demos on here to encourage people to go spend money elsewhere. And also you can't be like, ooh, I released this thing, but it's got a bug. Maybe somebody else will fix it for me. And then they can host their, bug fix on Nexus Mods. And all of a sudden, we have another redirect to go to somebody else's site to buy another mod. So
the other type of release is like you have a mod and there's a paid mod that exists that people want to use, and something in the paid mod breaks your mod. So you release a compatibility patch.
That's another issue
that relies on
will be a problem,
and that's excluded
they're
too.
Not, they're not.
Yeah.
If you read their policies as written, that would not be allowed because your compatibility mod would have basically a dependency on this paid mod. So these are that's some of the stuff that people have raised in the last day since this was released, to be like, hey, what can you do? And literally since the last time I read this article, it looks like there's a update to it already that says that Nexus Mod has come back and said basically they're working on more lenient rules for games that have something like Bethesda's Creators Club program, where it's literally like part of the game launcher you can get mods. So it looks like they're still working on dialing in exactly where they want this to be.
It's almost like if they, I don't know, polled the community on what the best approach to policymaking for this specific type of paid mod development on their site, and how they, use that feedback to write policy. That could have avoided some of this, but
they do claim that the original release of these policies was made after consulting a bunch of modders on the site. I don't know that they've listed specific people. They claim they talk to people. Who knows if that's accurate or not? But
yep, sure.
So we'll see where that ends up. Doesn't really affect much on. It's probably not going to affect 99% of people downloading mods from Nexus Mods.
Yeah.
But just kind of some interesting changes that may have repercussions in the future.
Yeah. Cool. You guys know what time it is, right?
Well, Bipple.
Time for some Bipple.
Bipple
Time, guys. Let's talk about what have we been playing lately. As a group, there have actually been 2 games. I don't know. Who wants to talk about Astrobot? This is not me.
I know
played
it.
Astrobot.
That was in from last time. Yeah.
That was it from
Yeah.
what
Good
a
work,
bunch
everyone.
of nerds.
I mean,
Getting the
up.
content out. God.
Linked
boy.
right there. You can kind of tell from last time.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Aaron, this is your fault.
It's all my
For
fault. It's
not
always my
cleaning
fault.
up our thing from last time.
It's linked. It's obviously from last time.
What an
Fine.
idiot.
Well, I'm such an idiot. You know what we have been playing as a group is a little COD Blop 6. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Some of us have
Definitely.
been playing.
The group.
And specifically zombies.
Yeah. Well, a couple of us have played campaign too.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah. No multiplayer for me yet, but Chad, do you want to start this off and talk about your experience and how like this has been a very positive Activision
Oh my
experience for you?
Sure. So yeah, picked up Game Pass the other day and was like, cool, because stream's coming up, Extra Life, etc. Let's try out some Black Ops. So did the troubleshooting of it kept crashing, so it crashed like 3 times, and then it also did the update requires restart. It's like, why? How is it this many games deep since Modern Warfare 2019, and you guys still have not figured out how to update my game before I open it? Anyways, got through all of that, tweaked my settings, did the whole shebang, got into the campaign, and I was like, oh, this campaign's actually pretty fun. It was a pretty good experience. I thought the choices that they made was pretty interesting. There's like open worldy levels and There's like upgrades that you could do on your base, and so you can go in with like extra health or extra ammo or stuff like that. And so you find money throughout levels, and you collect that money and you spend it back at your base. That stuff's cool. I also felt like I'm connecting with a lot of the characters like way more than I have in the past. I feel like there's so many characters that happen in some of the Call of Duties that it's just like can't keep track. But this one, it seems like there's like a core group that you're kind of just like doing stuff together with, and you're the Black Ops. You're the people who, without the government, you're doing stuff because you're trying to save the world. Anyways, all that to say, got like 6 hours deep, and decided, I'll pause here, close my game, and I was texting Aaron about it, talking about like the throwing knife and how cool the homing throwing knives are, and how if you hold down the gadget button, it turns into like a throwing knife that you follow, kind of like bullet time, and you can like lead it to your target. Really cool stuff. And then the next day I open it up and my save file's not there. I'm like, oh shoot. So then I go to the Google, and it seems like there is a issue that is undetermined on why it hits some people, but mostly Xbox Game Pass players, where all of your settings and your save file and just everything needs to be reset. Well, settings need to be reset every single time, but then also your save file is just not there. So I started, going down the rabbit hole, and somebody said something about OneDrive, so I don't even know why I had OneDrive installed on the computer, so I uninstalled OneDrive. I attempted to go to like some ransomware part of my computer and add like a setting in there that basically says that, hey, let Call of Duty through. That didn't work. Then there's another. I swear to God, Alex sent me like 30 to 40 different freaking things, and I just every single time was like, I tried that. I even uninstalled the Xbox app and signed out of the Microsoft Store and uninstalled the game, restarted my computer multiple times. Literally just cannot get save files to start. And so one thing that people were saying is that their old save files just like appeared when some of the solutions happened. And I'm like, well, I think maybe mine won't, because I literally erased everything Call of Duty off of my computer at one point and then reinstalled. And so what I've been doing is I've been going into the prologue, and I've been playing through the prologue, getting to the second mission, backing out, seeing the 2 missions there, and being like, okay, if the 2 missions are there when I come back in, then it's fixed. If it's not, then it's not fixed. So then I'll back out of the game and I'll come back in, and it'll just be, first of all, I'll get hit with the screen of like basic settings setup. And I'm like, I know something's broken when I see that screen.
Yep.
And then, go through, of course they can't make it to where you can click like, hey, I want to play campaign, and campaign just pulls up. No, I have to go into the COD launcher first, and then I have to click campaign. It closes down the COD launcher, and then it opens up the campaign. So it takes like 5 to 10 minutes to just open the game in general every time I try to troubleshoot this. So after like 6 hours, I somewhat gave up, and then I started talking to Aaron some more, and he was like, oh, my save file is start troubleshooting again. I told Alex at one point, I was like, I'm just going to buy the game. Like, screw the Game Pass. I'm about to buy the game so I can play through it. And then he goes, well, Steam users are also reporting that this is happening. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, what the heck? How? Like, I could understand like a piece of a map maybe being broken, or like, a car like a car like dropping through the map, or your gun not firing, or your gun not reloading. Literally save files or save files disappearing. Like, what? Oh my gosh.
At least I know not to play the campaign right now.
Yeah, don't do that.
My settings never save.
I would
That's
actually
every time.
I would ask you to go through on like the easiest difficulty, the first level, because it's like it takes probably like 10 minutes to go through the first level. And if you go through the first level and you get to the mansion and you close your game down and open it back up, I know it's not just me if the second level's not there.
My question is, did you make sure that Provoxy is not installed on your computer?
Bro, I don't even think I have the computer that was installed.
Bro, have you plugged in a USB that you plugged in that previous computer? Peripherals?
Yeah.
It's living in the hardware now.
Just in the wires.
Yeah.
Don't you know your save file is saved in your mouse?
Yeah.
I like how when I type in Provoxy to
Let me know.
Sorry,
Don't say that while you're
my
talking
computer
about
froze
Voxy.
for a second.
Yeah, it's Provoxy because you said the
yeah, 'cause
words
I
and it was
typed
like
it.
it got all tense.
You know what's crazy is mice these days have onboard memory, and you could
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, you can put a save file on those.
I could see somebody infecting computers with a mouse. Some sort of new malware.
My mouse remembers its settings if I plug it into a different computer.
Yeah.
I mean, haven't you seen those like lightning cables or USB-C cables that have a microchip embedded in like the
Yeah.
tip?
God, yeah, that's why you never use a public cable.
Yeah.
Yep. Ben, every time I go to the airport, I plug into every available USB that I can
Mhm.
find
Oh my
with
God,
all of my
Aaron.
devices.
Oh,
Just
career.
one
You don't-
right after another.
You don't
I
have a
hate
USB
you.
condom?
I'm gonna fight you.
What the
They
heck
make
is a
those.
USB condom?
USB condom? It's just like
Yeah.
a dongle that goes in between the cable and your
Mhm.
device that
It
only
makes
allows
the
power
only
through.
power goes through. Yeah.
Talk dirty to me, Alex.
It disables the data pins.
Disabling my data pins.
They're actually really interesting ones that'll tell you, in addition to only allowing power through, they'll actually tell you if the cable is trying to access data.
weird.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
That is really neat. That's cool hardware. I did want to talk a little bit about this game. I think Chad pointed on a couple key items there in the campaign wise, or in the campaign specifically. One, that you kind of have the space of operations where you can upgrade things. I think it's a weird choice for Call of Duty, but it seems like it can be fun. I haven't played far enough to really develop it too much to change the like sort of my loadout before I go into missions. But that's kind of nice because you get to do that in everything else of Call of Duty. You just don't really get to do it in the campaign. So I think they're kind of trying to inject some of that from multiplayer and zombies into campaign mode, which I think is neat. They also have a pretty good variety of missions. I've probably played through 5 or 6 missions now, and there are some open world things where it's just like, all right, you got all these different targets, feel free, pick your approach, sort of strategize on how you're going to approach it and go for it. And I think those are all, really solid choices. It's a engaging game, and I agree. The characters are like memorable, which compared to a lot of Call of Duties, that's a big improvement.
You also get to like talk to the people too, because other games, you actually told me this in text. It's like mission, cutscene, and that's it.
Yep.
Like there's no exploring anything really. There's no like talking to your allies to like pick their brains on like what's going on. Half the time when I'm playing a Call of Duty game, I'll just have to like gloss over the first like 2 cutscenes, and then finally I start recognizing names and like what's actually happening, like who the enemies are. But this one, it seemed pretty straightforward on like who the enemies are, like what's going down. Pantheon's a thing, and I'm like, all right, cool, Destiny. But yeah, no, it's cool because it's just like dialogue options that you like actually can go through with each one of your characters. It's nothing revolutionary like Baldur's
not at
Gate
all.
or anything, but at least you're able to like I want to know about this stuff, and then like there's a certain point where you're like, nah, I don't really care about that, and you could just leave the conversation.
I think it gives you just like a little bit more. It makes your character seem like more interactive with all the other players or all the other people in the game, in the campaign. And again, while that's a strange thing for Call of Duty, it does provide a level of extra on top. It's like a little extra because that whole thing about the mission cutscene, like I'm thinking back to the Modern Warfare games, the new ones. That's exactly how every one of them are. You finish the mission, it plays a cutscene, you're like, oh, I remember that guy from the last Modern Warfare. And then you're immediately in another mission. There's like no character development, no talking with.
Right.
They just like, here's the information you're getting, go play the game. Which I get is, I guess that's kind of Call of Duty, but this is kind of a fresh
it's also
take.
so like recent CODs are so large scale that like you have one team of operatives that's like going in and doing stuff, and then you have the next team, and you're playing like 2 different characters, and you're trying to learn like all the characters that you're playing with. This one, which funnily enough, I was like, I don't think they say my name enough. Because in the beginning, I was like, am I just here? Do I just not have a name? And then somebody like right after that goes, Case. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It takes a while.
Your name is Case.
Yeah. You weren't on it, dude.
Several of us have also been playing the zombies, round-based zombies mode And they clarify that multiple times when you get into it. But round-based zombies mode, which, if you're familiar at all with Call of Duty World, there are basically two different types of zombies. There's your traditional Black Ops zombies, that is the one that everybody likes. And then there's the Modern Warfare zombies that I don't think anybody likes. I don't think anybody at all likes any of the zombies that exist in Modern Warfare. So it's kind of maybe going back to basics a little bit here. But I don't know. What do you guys, Alex, Caleb, what do you guys think about what we've played so far with zombies?
I've been having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's still as obtuse as it's always been, discovering the Easter egg stuff. That's kind of storyline of the zombies mission. But it's a fun time. It's fun just blasting zombie heads and leveling up your guns.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got
I
kind of
think
like that roguelike feel.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, yeah. Especially with the mystery box to get your weapons.
One thing I think that they did a good job with, at least so far, I mean, we've only played maybe 10 rounds of zombies, and I think the furthest we've gotten is like round 35 within one of those runs, around there. One of the components I like is the sort of roguelike aspect where you come back and you kit out. You're still upgrading your weapons like you do. Like you can upgrade through campaign or multiplayer or zombies. You're still upgrading your loadouts. But there's also a specific thing where you can also upgrade in-game perks to have different augmentations. And so you kind of like select a perk. You're like, oh, I want quick revive because I get it. It's like the first thing I get every time. But if you can upgrade it, you can get to the point where you automatically get a quick revive for yourself where you just get up and it essentially like takes away that perk from you. But you have to spend time upgrading that specific thing. Or if you're like, I like the perks like how they are, but I want to, they have these like gun augmentations where you can make your ammo do various things like fire or cold or lightning or shadow. And let's say you want to upgrade one because you really like what it does. Like I'm upgrading the lightning one because it'll stun zombies and then they will just kind of stand in the same spot for like half a second and you just mow them down. As you upgrade that, you can get to the point where there's like, it does more damage, it stuns them for longer, it starts stunning elites, it starts throwing lightning bolts from the sky that'll just do AoE damage. There's like a whole bunch of additional components from it that you can spend time upgrading, and so you can hit out. I can be focused entirely on mowing down rows of zombies while Alex focuses on making sure he can stay alive and making sure that he can, I don't know, res other people and be the medic. Because I assume that's what he's working towards at this point.
Maybe. We'll see.
Safe bet.
The only issue I have with that system is it feels like progression is very, very slow for that system.
Yeah.
It feels like you unlock exactly one thing every mission, essentially.
I kind of wonder,
it feels slow.
if you get more XP for that stuff, if you one, if you're using it in game, which I think you do based on my experience with equipping the lightning rounds to my weapon. I think I upgraded faster when I was doing research for that specific thing. And two, I'm kind of wondering if you finish the it's not really an Easter egg, it is just like
Storyline almost.
the storyline. I'm wondering if
call
you
it a
finish the
quest.
storyline or
They call it a quest.
extract if you get more XP for those things that you're researching if you do that. Because we
Could be.
rarely extracted. Most of the time we just die.
Yeah.
And we don't complete the storyline. So I'm kind of wondering if you finish those, if you get bonus XP and you can upgrade those things faster, which would be nice.
That could be.
All in all, though, I think other than obviously the clear bugs with save files and having to redo settings all the time, I think they did a pretty good job with this game. I'm excited to play more of the campaign. I think the zombie stuff sounds fun. I like that they're doing, figure it out yourself, but soon we'll have a guided mode to walk you through the stories in zombies, so you can do the Easter egg yourself. Planning on releasing more maps. Classic. They have content to release. It's a Call of Duty game. They're going to release stuff. There's just going to be a bunch of stuff for the game. But I think so far, I'm excited about this drop.
The thing with the extra launcher for campaign, is that because you can buy campaign only?
Yes.
Okay.
You can buy...
I think it's just specifically the way they've developed it is you launch Call of Duty R, like the circle R, and then that's like the hub of Call of Duties now. And then you select Black Ops campaign, and it just switches the game to the Black Ops campaign, which is weird because I know what you're saying, because like zombies and multiplayer does not do that.
Mhm.
And I have no idea why. But they started that system when they released Modern Warfare 3, where it's
Mhm.
like it opens a separate client for some of the stuff.
Which I'm pretty sure you can launch all of that stuff from that same Call of Duty launcher. You can launch
Right.
the Modern Warfare 3 campaign. You can launch Warzone, all specifically
Yeah,
from the COD
it's
launcher.
Call of Duty. What does the R symbol stand for? It's not trademark. It's like
Yeah, it's trademark.
Registered.
Registered.
trademark, right?
registered. Yeah, so it's like the registered name of Call of Duty goes here. So like everything Call of Duty, doesn't matter what developer, they're all gonna go there now.
I mean, Halo did that with their... Is it the Master Chief Collection? No. There's something where all of the Halo games are in one launcher, and you can launch them from there, and it also tracks all the stats from all the Halos you've played.
Yeah, it's the Master Chief Collection.
Is it Master Chief? Okay.
Yeah.
Similar concept. But I was thinking you could buy individual things and play it, because when I downloaded... maybe it's because I was on Game Pass, but it gave me the option to also get the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, which I do not own, but maybe it's just on Game Pass, so it would let me just download it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. Good game. I'm excited to play more. Chad, what else have you been playing?
Yeah, so the other game that I've been playing, obviously other than Destiny, is ECG Card Shop Simulator.
I've been thinking about
This-
picking that up.
I mean, if you're in the family share, you could try it.
I might.
It's pretty fun. I mean, it's just a job. Like it's so funny because I tried explaining this to my sister-in-law, who is kind of game illiterate, and I was like, yeah, it's you run a shop and you stock the shelves. You know, the customers will come up and you have to like give them exact change back, and she's like, and this is fun. Why?
I mean, that's up there with like when you try to explain to people why like Power Wash Simulator's fun.
Sure,
You know?
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you start off with like a couple shelves in your shop with like one register, and you just kind of stock the shelf. I think it tutorializes a little bit. It's like, hey, buy this card, throw it on the shelf, start the day. And then eventually you can like hire somebody to like work behind the counter so that you could just keep opening card decks and seeing if you can get like really like rare, expensive cards. I think my highest pull right now is like in the thousands.
Wow.
Yeah, we can say, well, I'm on day 30. I was playing on the Steam Deck mostly, which is actually like, it says it's not for Steam Deck, but like you could play it on Steam Deck.
Mhm.
It's not bad. So that's pretty much what I was, anytime I needed to pass some time, because there was a little bit of downtime at my in-laws this weekend, I just like pulled that out, play a little card shop simulator.
Are you using the mod that changes all the cards to Pokemon cards?
No, I mean, honestly, I really enjoy seeing what they came off, like their cards.
Dude. When Chad launches this game, do all of you guys also just scratch your heads and go, what?
I will say, I'm interested in the game. It does not seem like a Chad game. I'm very
That's my
confused
initial
when I
thought.
see
I'm like,
Chad playing it. I'm like,
What is
Chad?
going on?
Really?
I don't know. This game seems like the what is it? Click Heroes, Cookie Clicker. Like it's just for some reason
idle
some of those
game.
games, yeah, it's a draw to me. Like
It's an active idle game.
I
No, this
pretty
is to me. This is like when Abe launches Pro Tour Cycle Simulator Manager or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm always like, what?
yeah. You just restock. Like you look at your shelves and you're like, all right, I need the blue cards, I need the gold cards, I need the purple cards, and you just go add those to your cart, order them, they just slam them outside your door. You open the box, you go and throw them on the shelves, and then you start the next day, and you have your lackey there, running the cash register, and you're just sitting there opening cards, just hoping for some rare ones.
I love that there are so many different types of simulator games like this. There's like PC
Mhm.
Builder Simulator, Power Washer Simulator, like everything. But what I really want is I want a game that from the outside just looks like it's something like this. All right, TCG Card Shop Simulator, cool, got it. You go play it, and all of a sudden it just starts introducing like a whole bunch of stuff that's like real world pressures for owning and operating whatever it actually is.
You
And
gotta
so
pay
it's-
taxes suddenly.
Yeah, like or like things happen, like any number of things. Oh, we had a water pipe burst,
Mm.
or like it could be any number of things, But just like to have it be a game where it presents as this typical simulator, and then it Doki Dokis it up, and it like makes it all weird all of a sudden, and like all of a sudden there's all these pressures, like real life pressures for owning and operating something that's exactly like this. I would love that. I think that'd be so bizarre and so unique and so
It's so-
weird.
Sounds terrible to play.
Well,
Yeah,
it
sure.
sounds a little bit like Papers, Please,
Oh.
where
Huh.
you're just doing literal desk work, but the twist there is it's not the job the job is giving you pressure, but it's because you are working for a dystopian government, like a fascist government, who wants you to do terrible, terrible things.
Yeah.
I will
But
say one thing that you said there happens, which is just bills. You actually do have to pay
Mhm.
for the electricity and the rent and your employee. I actually was talking with Kate the other day about how like it would be fascinating if like one of these simulators like did have like Doki elements to it, where it's just like I want it not to be like pipes bursting. I want it to literally be like it starts turning into a horror game. Like you start looking outside and like there's just a man just staring at you or something. It's like it just dives in. You're just like, oh, it's whatever. He was just window shopping, but then like, no, like it's something creepy happening. And like every day you get further and deeper into your play, it's just like more and more stuff happen. It'd be so cool.
Isn't Zoocosis supposed to be sort of like that?
Zoocosis? Did you just make up a word?
no, that's real.
It's like people thought it was like just a horror game, but it's just like a manage a zoo game,
Mhm.
except for occasionally the animals are horrific.
Yeah, they're like really gross, fucked up looking animals.
What the? Boy, the
Yeah.
trailer. Yeah, it goes hard real quick. Wow.
Yeah, I don't want any mention. Like Doki Doki does such a good job because there's like no mention of anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
The problem
you
is you
just,
can't
like-
really do like if a bunch of games started doing that, you just expect it all the time, and then it would be like not special.
There's no way a bunch of games are gonna do it though, right?
No.
Like,
No, but
I
like
just want one. I want it to be like, okay, the guy on SB Mowing, the guy on TikTok who just goes to people's houses and mows lawns and that
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
I want that. I want like lawn mowing simulator where it's just like a very mundane task, and then things just start to get out of control where you're like, I don't know, like one of your mowers breaks down, or you run over like a animal in the yard with the mower, and it's like,
wow, you just
how do I?
you want that? That's what you want.
yeah.
I'm
I
writing
want-
that down. Aaron
And
wants
it
to
turns
run
out
over
it's the-
animals with a mower.
it turns out it's the pet of the owner, and then you have to go to court.
Yes, like
'Cause they
just
sue you.
chaos.
Because nobody asked you to mow their lawn.
Doesn't that sound
I
bizarre?
go to
Yeah.
court, and then it's actually like a hidden court game instead of it being a mower game.
It's suddenly Ace Attorney.
Oh man, it just sounds so unique. I don't know.
Before you got so specific, I was gonna say Frog Fractions, but
And literally,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
saying
Yeah.
Phoenix right? I was like, I mean, Frog Fractions does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a little bit more abstract.
Yeah,
I don't
a
want it
little
to-
more.
I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be
Yes.
so abstract. I want it to be like close enough to real life where you're like, all right, this is just freaking me out. I don't like this. I'm just feeling anxious. Immediately start like sweating.
Like,
Yeah, why do you
coded
want this?
in.
I don't understand.
Just it's something unique. That's
what,
what I.
what about like getting way into Eve Online and like
Yeah, I could do that.
Alex,
Yeah,
you
sure.
can't say the name of that game when I'm on the call. Please don't. All right, you're gonna trigger me, and I'm gonna go play it
you
again.
get like high up in a corpo, and then like you've got real life social situations and like people doing espionage for real against
Yep.
each other.
Oh man,
Hundreds of thousands of real US dollars worth of loss in like
Let's stop
battles and
talking.
things.
That man. Wild.
Yeah.
Alex, what have you been playing?
So the new Life is Strange game came out, Double Exposure.
Oh.
So I have played 3 of 5 chapters of that game.
Wow.
Is it just all out at one time?
Yeah, it's all out at the same time. Yep.
I think
Yep, yep.
they I think if you pre-ordered, you got to play the first chapter or so early.
Yeah, first 2 chapters.
I thought they normally didn't release all the chapters at once.
They used to not do that.
Okay.
I feel like
So-
they learned that was a bad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
very few,
I would just
I think
wait.
very few games
anyway.
have been super successful with like releasing the
Episodic
story
releases.
episodically.
Mhm.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
it's like a Telltale style game where people are like kind of expecting.
Yeah, and like Telltale is still doing really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's a great example. I didn't think of that.
Sorry. Let's go with Kentucky Route Zero.
Hey, look at that. Yeah,
Very
fine.
successful one.
Half-Life.
Half-Life.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, episode.
Mhm, episode 1, episode 2.
No more episode.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Anyway, Life is
you got
Strange.
2 weeks early access if you pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, which
Okay, that's what it is.
is like more expensive. I just bought the regular version when it came
Yeah,
out.
yeah. None of it is important to your story.
Yeah.
So please go on.
And then, well, they're kind of annoying me with the Ultimate Edition too, because you finish the first chapter and it pops up a thing that's like, "Hey, you're gonna miss out on the special cat content if you don't upgrade to the Ultimate Edition.
Wow.
Cat
Yeah, you
content.
have
Oh,
to
no.
upgrade before you start
Built-in
chapter
FOMO.
2, or you miss out on the cat quest." And I was
Unreal.
like, "Man, why?
That'd be the
Why
best
are
part of the
video
game.
games like this?"
That's actually crazy.
It already feels kind of crazy to spend $50 on this game that's going to be like 10 hours long.
Hmm.
But I'm a big Life is Strange fan, so I felt justified. Also, Max is back, so the original protagonist from the first game, which is by far the best in the series,
Does
is
she
back
have
for
the
this
same
one.
Powers?
No.
Okay.
She stops using her rewind time power at the end of the first game. Like, she
Mhm.
decides to not use it anymore because it's just brought her trouble. And then in this game, when you pull the left trigger, which is how you activate it in the first game, if you do it in the beginning of the game before anything weird starts happening, she's like, "I haven't rewound time in years. Shouldn't try doing that now." I thought that was very funny. I thought that was cool.
Hmm.
And then when you do get powers in this game, they're put on buttons that are not that button. So it's like, theoretically, the rewind time button is still there, just in case.
That's
I don't
very
know.
funny.
But this game, the supernatural twist is you can jump between 2 existing timelines that are running parallel to each other.
Mhm.
So she's got a different time power now. That comes about towards the end of the first chapter.
Double exposure makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's all coming together.
Also, you got a Polaroid camera you can take pictures with, and you can do double exposure on.
Oh.
So I was
Just
like,
the
"Oh,
name.
the name of the game. That's neat." Every time I try to do double exposure, I'm like, "That looks terrible. Who would ever do that?" I'm just gonna do a single exposure photos. I will say, still not as good as the first game.
Aw.
So I mean, really, I don't.
Disappointing.
I think it's just lightning in a bottle. Like, you're never gonna recapture the first game. One,
Sure.
because the characters are so beloved, and 2, because mechanically it is the most sound game in the series, and they don't want to reuse the same mechanic again, so they just can't make a game as good as that again.
I'm gonna level with you, man. Just use that mechanic again.
I don't
Like-
understand why they don't.
There's a reason it works so like the mechanic of the first game of you can go make a decision and then rewind time to unmake that decision
Mhm.
fits so naturally into that style of game and just allows you to tell such interesting stories. It's like just do it again, guys. It was a really good idea. You were onto something.
So mechanically in this game, there's still cool ways you can use your powers to solve puzzles and stuff like that. Nothing fits quite as well in the adventure genre as rewinding time, but in this case, you can be like, "Oh, there's like a cop blocking passage to this place I need to get to. I'm gonna hop into the other timeline where the cop isn't there, walk past where he would be, and then hop back into the other timeline to where I can explore what I need to explore." Or like, you can instead of fully moving between the timelines, you can kind of like preview what's around you in the other timeline with like ghostly visions. So you can like, at one point you need to get information from somebody, but they don't want to tell you, and they're talking to somebody else. So you go hop into the other timeline and then go back to where they would have been in the original timeline and like eavesdrop on them in ghost form. So there's kind of neat ways that they apply the supernatural stuff mechanically in this game. It's basically all new characters except for Max.
What's her? Chloe isn't in it?
Chloe is mentioned, but not in the game.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I guess she could have died at the end of the first game. Spoiler
Yes.
alert for like a 20-year-old game or something. It's not 20. Don't let it be 20. I'm not looking it up.
They basically let you decide in the beginning of the game what happened at the end of the first game through like a conversation with somebody.
Interesting.
And then based on what you say to that person in the beginning, all the rest of the mentions of the Arcadia Bay and Chloe and stuff like that
Okay.
are set appropriately. So I think both endings can exist in this game. I've been mostly having a good time with it. I would say it's one of the good ones in the Life is Strange series. It's no Life is Strange 2, which I kind of hate.
I did not. I don't even think I really started Life is Strange 2.
As in,
Yeah.
you hate Life is Strange 2, or you hate that it's not Life is Strange 2?
I hate Life is Strange 2.
Understood.
And people seem pretty divisive on this one. I will say there's like some parts of it where I'm like, the writing's kind of bad here, or like some characters will do something I'm like, you're so dumb, like why would you do that? And then other times I'm like, oh, this is kind of this is a cute character moment, or like, oh, I love Max, this is like a fun time, like revisiting Max's emotional turmoil. So
I assume she's older now, right?
yeah, she's
Like,
like
how-
28, I think, in this one. She's like teaching. She's a artist in residence at a university, like running seminars for students
Interesting. Okay.
in photography. So you like hang out on campus with the other faculty and like go to the local bar and stuff.
Hmm.
It's fun. It's just fun to see that the character progressed and in a new setting. So I've been having a pretty good time with that. Also, I have zero guesses on where the story is going or who like the culprit of the bad stuff is. So I'm very intrigued by that stuff. So far I've been happy with that. Hopefully they can land the ending and not have it be super dumb. But it's like not super obvious what's going to happen, which I'm enjoying.
Cool. I'll go next. I've only really been playing one game, which is Frostpunk 2. Caleb, did you talk about this last podcast?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Frostpunk 2 is, in my opinion, an equal level quality game to Frostpunk. I think it is very good, but for different reasons. I loved Frostpunk. I love this game. I think there are some very different choices they made. Just in general, this is a very different type of game. The first Frostpunk, if you haven't played it, is basically you're focused on making individuals survive in a city. You are the captain of a city. There's ice everywhere. You're trying to keep the heat on, keep people fed, keep them housed, and just keep people alive. This one is much more like society management, where you are not the captain, you are the steward. And the steward is like if you were like the prime minister of a country working with like a government that has various factions in it, and you have to navigate this sort of diplomatically or sometimes not diplomatically negotiate with various factions in order to keep them appeased and happy. And if they're happy, they will benefit you as the steward. Interesting things about this game, I will say, it very much it's a much more narrative driven game in the sense that like there is an end goal in mind like the whole time, versus Frostpunk is just about surviving. This one's like, all right, what we're doing here isn't working. We have to take the next steps towards doing something that'll help us survive for a longer period of time. And so it like leads you to different areas of the map, which Frostpunk 1 really didn't have. This has a much bigger area to explore and allows you to like build small outposts here and there where you can gather resources from and you know build up new areas. So that part's good. I think its faction system is really unique. It is like impossible to always have all the factions happy with you because some of them are just specifically at odds with one another. Primarily the stewards and the pilgrims. The stewards are like, we have to destroy the ice and embrace technology. And the pilgrims are like, we have to embrace the ice. We're here forever. We have to figure out how to live with the ice. And so none of the laws that you pass, none of the things that you try to do will ever satisfy both sides. And you're kind of playing this like long-term game of really pushing or promoting the views of one side while also trying to just build rapport with the other side and keep them somewhat satisfied while you're just kind of stringing them along. I think the other cool things about this game are, unlike Frostpunk, I think there's serious replayability with this game because there are I don't know if you know this, Gil, but there's 9 factions in this game.
Oh, real? What?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of people end the game, they have 4 factions, and that is all they've experienced, or 6, depending on kind of what's going on. But yeah, there's 9 factions that can develop over the course of the game, depending on how you approach things. So I think there's a lot of replayability there because it changes the end of the game. It changes the way that you approach things. If you're, steward side, you're all about industry and building your own stuff. If you're pilgrim side, you're like not about industry at all, and you have to go find resources, in the greater part of London, essentially is where you're at, England, and gather resources from those points. So I think there's a lot of replayability. I think it does a really good job of maintaining the tension that I felt the whole time I was playing Frostpunk. Like, I always feel like my decisions are poor for one reason or another. Whether that's like just detrimental to society or detrimental to one faction. So I feel like there's like this sort of weighted balance. And I think in general, the storyline is just interesting. It's unique to me, and it's kind of a cool concept. I've never played a game like Frostpunk. I've also never played a game like Frostpunk 2. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say, Jake?
I don't... Well, I know a little bit about Frostpunk. So was Frostpunk 1 more of like, or almost like emergent story, where sort of just the way your city grew was and you were just trying to survive as long as you could?
It's essentially, yes, you are trying to survive. You're also getting some information. It's like right when the cold has happened.
Okay.
And you're like just trying to survive.
Gotcha.
So you like, it's been kind of cold, but now it's to the point where it's like, all right, if we don't find a home and build a home and keep people warm, we're just going to die out as a society.
Gotcha.
This one is, Frostpunk 2 is, we have all of this technology. It all exists.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to figure out as a society how to make this work. And so you're kind of managing that.
Okay.
Both games have like an end though, yeah? It's not just like survive as long as you can.
Both games have an end.
That is kind of the first game. It is kind of just survive through all of these whiteouts until you survive the big one.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see.
And win.
The probably the most unique thing about Frostpunk, both of them, is that wherever you end the previous mission is where you start the next mission. And there's only like 6 total chapters in each game. And so if you get off on a bad start and you get to like chapter 3 or 4 and you just can't recover, you will never be able to recover. So you kind of have to really game plan long term and strategize how you're going to make it to the end of the campaign, which I don't know, I find really interesting. This game has an absolute ton of depth that you will never get into. You can literally click all the way in the original Frostpunk. You can click all the way down to each individual person walking around on the map, and it will tell you their name, their age, where they live, what health implications they've had, what they feel about you. That has like quotes by them, and this is for every person. And there are thousands of people living in Frostpunk, in New London or the town Winterhome.
That's crazy.
In this one, you're not dealing in the thousands; you're dealing in the hundreds of thousands of people.
Okay.
So you can't quite drill down that far, but for each person who's a part of the the parliament or the council, they all have names and they all have families, and Like you can drill down into the like where they're at and what their principles and practices are and how they're going to vote on the things that you put forward. And it's, I don't know, it's just really, there's a lot of depth to it. It's very unique. The two things I will say that are negatives to this game, it really emphasizes overproduction or over resource gathering, meaning even more than original Frostpunk. It is like, if you are not clicking the like button that puts them into having like overtime hours where they're just producing, you're going to lose. Period. End of story. You have to like cause turmoil. You have to cause pain for people to overproduce so that you can sort of survive the whiteout.
Put those kids to work.
Yeah. You can also pass laws and make children work, which you could do in the first game too.
You're making me think I didn't play it on a high enough difficulty.
I played
Because
on the
I
second
feel like-
highest, and it was hard.
Okay, well the suggested is like no difficulty. So I just put
Yeah.
a 1 above the suggested, and I feel like it wasn't hard enough. Because the factions were basically all happy with me until the very end of the game.
Hmm.
For like the whole thing.
Caleb, you got to remember, you're like a gamer,
Yeah.
so like of course it was easy, you know.
And I play games. There's a big difference.
Like
Mhm.
here's the question, Caleb. How long did it take you to figure out how to sprint?
That's a good question.
Very
I still
valid
haven't
point.
figured it out.
Very valid point.
So, you know. I like
Um,
Frostpunk 2. I think the storyline is really interesting with how the factions play off of each other. I think I like the first one better because I think your decisions have more impact.
Yeah, you
Than they
definitely do
do
not play high
in
enough
2.
difficulty. I think that's purely what it is, because every time I make a decision, I immediately cause fervor in other factions, immediately piss people off. My, like, the little tension? Is it tension? Little sphere in the
Tension.
middle.
Yeah.
It's like, it just explodes if I make
Yeah.
a decision that people are upset about.
Mine was virtually empty like the whole game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Aaron,
Story
I think
mode,
you
my
gotta
man.
look inward a little bit, you know?
played on-
Story mode.
I played on the second difficulty. I didn't play on the lowest one I suggest.
Yikes.
I don't know.
So if I were to try Frostpunk, would you guys recommend the newest one, 2, or the old one?
One. I think one's a really cool introduction to the style of game it is. Again, I've never played anything like it. It is the most over-connected systems of resource management in a game I've ever, like, every decision you make has something to do with every resource that you have.
Sure.
And so you have to manage the whole thing across the board simultaneously. And there's just not a lot like that.
Yeah.
It's very unique. So the
I
first one
definitely
I would say for
recommend
sure.
starting with the first one. If you like the first one, absolutely play the second one. Because it's going to be not terribly similar, but in the same sort of vein.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it definitely plays off of the storyline of the first one.
Anyway, really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna probably go back for another playthrough because I want to. I know there's factions I have not been introduced to yet.
You're convincing me to check it out. Frostpunk's always one I'm a big city builder fan, but I've avoided it because I haven't been a fan in the past of city builders that go hard on the whole like really big onto the environmental, like I don't like city builders with like a high difficulty curve, effectively.
Oh God, yeah, that's
like with risk of like death and just like, oh, game over. Yeah, everybody froze and died. I'm like, oh, it's not really my thing.
I also think calling Frostpunk a city builder does a disservice to what it's trying to do, because you're not building a city. You are managing, like,
A city.
kind of, not really. You're managing surviving.
You're managing the survival of a group of people.
That's
Who
it.
live in a...
Who live in a city.
They do live in a
There we
city.
go. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Got it.
And
But-
Yeah, it is a city builder that is also a survival game.
do you build things in the place where they're surviving?
In the first one, you
Like,
build
build
things. In the second thing,
like a
city
building,
they're
maybe?
in.
A collection of buildings grouped close together. What do you call that?
yeah, it's tough. A home. Yeah. Anyway, Frostpunk 1, great place to start. It's a cool game. I would say if you don't really like a high difficulty curve, play on a low difficulty, because it's
Yeah.
not.
Just
Literally,
call Caleb.
Play on
Next-
the second level difficulty. It's not that bad.
Have Caleb do a let's play, or just a playthrough, and you can watch it. That's fine.
Oh, or you could, if you're ever on a decision you don't know what to do, call Aaron and do the opposite. Because it
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
all of his were bad.
Oof. This Frostpunk is not the game where you look at it and you go, I'm going to play on the highest difficulty possible, because it
You're
literally
just not a gamer.
says if you make one wrong choice, it is the end. Like, you cannot survive unless everything is exactly perfect.
Don't choose wrong.
Disappointed in you.
Yeah, why would you choose wrong? It's a great
Exactly.
question.
Yeah, just choose right every time.
I mean, I chose realism mode on Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That game was friggin' hard, dude. It's shot from all over the place. We'll get there. Anyway,
Isn't it only veteran?
whatever it is. The top realism was Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Caleb, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple Metroidvanias.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Did you
You're
kickstart
so
any of them?
dumb. All of them.
No.
I
was
love that
very
you're not
hesitant
sure.
No.
I love that.
Here's the thing. I kickstarted the game, the previous game that these people made, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I kickstarted the second one. I don't think I did.
You played
I don't
both of
think so.
these from my licenses, so I don't think so.
Oh, did I? There you go. Okay, I didn't. So Crypt Custodian is the first game. It is made by the people that made Islets. I talked about that Metroidvania a while back. But Crypt Custodian is a top-down Metroidvania. You play as a cat who has died and gone to the afterlife, and you are sentenced for being a bad kitty to clean up the afterlife for all eternity. So you go around with a broom, cleaning up.
You lost me
killing
a bad
monsters.
kitty.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not
doesn't
a
make
thing.
sense.
Well, you're a very good kitty, but in order to get to the person who's sentenced to you, broke one of her statues, so she sentences you as being a bad kitty.
Okay,
forever.
so they're a bad person. Got it.
You
Maybe.
get tricked.
Maybe, but it's pretty good. It's got the sort of Hollow Knight badge system going on, which I always enjoy. And there are a lot of them to find
As many as
Um,
Hollow Knight?
on par.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I would say. Don't you think, Alex?
There are, from the screen that has a bunch of empty slots, a lot of them.
Oh, you haven't played very much yet, huh?
Nah, I've played like a couple hours.
Okay. It's pretty big. It's pretty sprawling Metroidvania. The combat itself is not particularly intense or difficult. Some of the bosses are pretty interesting and add some difficulty, but overall, pretty normal on the
You're
difficulty.
playing on hard, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't think hard was that hard.
yeah, not that hard.
Another capital G gamer over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently. What the heck?
There,
I do
is there a
like
setting
that
above hard?
there's not.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I do like that it's a top-down game, but you have a jump, so you can use that in combat a lot to avoid attacks, which feels pretty cool.
Yeah, you essentially have two dodges
Yeah.
or two ways to move around attacks, which is pretty generous on avoiding stuff. Also, something that I really like, because there's a lot of platforming in the top-down aspect, but it's very generous about where you land. So if there's like a platform you're trying to land on and you get just a little bit off the edge, it just like kind of shunts you onto the platform and shows a little ghost of you like dashing, which I think is nice. It makes it way less annoying to do some of those sections.
Yeah. It also literally puts like a target on the ground where you're going to land.
Yeah.
So there's no question about depth perception or anything.
And it's got a pretty cute little story. You're just running around befriending all of these other creatures that have died and gotten sentenced to clean up for all eternity as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
That came out
Very
this year?
cute. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not going to be on my game of the year list.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh.
Then
The other
scathing
one,
review.
No,
Yeah,
it's
he
just
hated it.
this year had a lot of good games, man. A lot of good games. 2 other Metroidvanias that are better than this one. Yes. But the second one I've been playing
Sure.
is Bo Path of the Teal Lotus, which I know Alex played that one already.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really enjoying Bo. It is a side-scrolling Metroidvania, lots of platforming. It's kind of a lot heavier on platforming than it is on combat. Kind of in the Ori category, I think,
Mm-hmm.
as far as Metroidvanias go. It is absolutely gorgeous to look at. It's really pretty. I've gotten a little annoyed at this point with the writing because they just throw in a bunch of Japanese words everywhere. It's just throwing me off. Like,
They're
just,
racist?
a lot of places that just
Mhm.
don't. Why?
That's what I just heard.
Just why?
Like, I hate Japanese. Is all.
No, it's just I don't
Jeez.
know.
Yikes.
It just gets annoying sometimes. I'm like, just tell me what it is.
Right?
Yeah, tell us how annoying the Japanese are, Caleb. Please, go on.
But it's been really fun. The platforming in particular is really good in it. There's
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, how's the level of polish? Because this is the one that got left without a publisher when Humble shut down there.
I mean, I don't know that I've had almost any bugs with it.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Because that story was super duper heartbreaking.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, this is the one Humble Games just gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I've been really enjoying it. I'm not quite done with it. I think I'm approaching the end. It doesn't have too much of a story to it, unfortunately. It's got more like... It's got like little tiny story arcs for people that you meet, but there's not really a ton of story going on in general until kind of the very later portions of the game. Explore. Yeah.
Traversal is like the main thing in that game. Just getting around is the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the whole map is just set up as platforming challenges.
Mm.
Does it have any like what's that area called? White Palace level difficulty of?
Nothing that intense. No.
Okay.
There's one section that's got some pretty difficult platforming, but it's still not to that level.
Got it. Cool. Jake.
All right. Yeah, the only thing I've really been playing recently is Metaphor Fantasio. This is the fantasy Persona game. I am almost 30 hours in. It's really good. I don't know. I know I talked about this last podcast. But it's really good. I've gotten further along with like a lot of the characters and stuff, and so that's been enjoyable. The main plot, I think the main thing I've enjoyed about this rather than Persona, I guess there's a handful of things I could talk about. Persona 5 feels very formulaic. It's basically like you get to an area, you start like a chapter, and it's like that guy's being a real dickhead. And so then you go into the mental world and you beat up his mental whatever, and then you fix the problem. And that happens every single time without fail. There's also, Persona 5 does this thing where there's like a big bad, and you're not supposed to know who it is. But literally the second the character shows up on screen, it's like, that's him. Like, everyone knows that's him. But they treat it like a big reveal. And this Metaphor, I'll just call it Fantasia, that's a shorter name, has been more unexpected. It doesn't follow the exact same formula, which I have very much enjoyed. Like, it's still very, like, chapter-based, but I don't get there and go like, oh, okay, I know exactly who the bad guy is, I know exactly what we need to do to defeat them, whatever. It's also been nice, since it's fantasy and not high school kids, I feel like the character diversity is a little bit better. Just like... Having played Persona 3, 4, and 5, there's a lot of overlapping character traits, you know what I mean? Like, you get the best friend who's kind of an idiot, like, the pretty girl, the cold loner type. Whereas in this one, there's, like, I have, like, a disgraced knight who has, like, a complicated history with, like, the current ruling class, and I just met a guy who, like, went into hiding after he, like, lost his son. And it's like, yeah, those people aren't going to show up in Persona. You can't be 18 and have a dead kid. You know, that's a bit much. So it's just been really cool to see kind of a new way of exploring that kind of game. So I've been really enjoying that. The other thing that's cool is it has a system. Persona 5 Royal ultimately had a system where you could kind of skip the turn-based battles if you were high enough level. It was linked to a certain character. You had to get, like, a certain level in your relationship with them to unlock that ability. In Metaphor Fantasia, you just get that. If you are a certain level above the enemies in the dungeon, you can just hit them in the overworld, and it's like, they died. Good job. You get some experience.
That's nice.
It's very, very nice. I'm a little worried. I think I over-leveled, because I reached a point where I went through, like, an entire, like, story dungeon and didn't have to fight any monsters, and I was like, uh-oh. I think I got carried away.
Too much side stuff?
What? So, here's what happened. anyone who's played Persona, this is going to be a bit of a long tangent. It's fine. I'll go fast.
Mm-hmm.
Managing your mana within a dungeon is so freaking important because you want to be able to do a dungeon in one day because Persona has like a time system. Whenever
Yeah.
you go to do something, it takes a time slot. So what you want to do is you want to go to the main story dungeon and do it all in one go, so you only spend one day doing it. So it's really important to make sure you can get your mana back, because once you spend it, it's really hard to get back without using consumables, and consumables are hard to get or they cost money or whatever. And so in this game, one of the kind of ways I found to get it, there is a class you can equip to your character called the Mage, and whenever you defeat a character in the overland combat without going to the turn-based battle, you get an MP for every enemy you kill. So I was like, okay, it's like right before the boss, I'm like half full on mana, I'm just gonna run a circuit and get all my mana back. Which means I accidentally got a bunch of XP as well,
Wow.
and so now I'm just super overleveled.
So you just ran through a dungeon multiple times. Got it.
I had to get my mana back. There was no other way to do it. Everything else, there are consumables you can use, but in each like area I've been to, there's a merchant who sells 2. That's it. That's all you freaking get. So
Makes
like,
sense.
oh, it's so frustrating. I did find a better way to do it. I won't talk about it because I think people on this call are going to play it eventually. But I did find another way to get mana that I'm very excited about implementing, because it means I don't have to do that anymore. All that to say, it's really good. I like this game a lot, and I'm excited to play more of it. The other thing I've been playing, and I haven't played this in a while, actually, because Metaphor came out, but I didn't want to just have one game. I played Nine Souls. I started Nine Souls. It's another 2D Metroidvania. It's really, really good. It took me a while to kind of click with the weird, like, parry talisman symbol. I was actually, when I first started playing this, I was like, oh, I'm gonna complain about this. This is kind of annoying. But then I did a boss that felt like the difficulty was tuned really, really well. And it just kind of clicked in a way that it wasn't before.
That big centaur boss.
The centaur guy, yeah.
I think the one I ended up really liking was the lady who had the 2 vampire minions.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I
yeah.
really liked that fight. I guess I like duo fights a lot of times, I've noticed about myself. And so that one just felt really fun to do. I think it also helped I unlocked there's like a skill tree, and it basically, when I'm talking about the talisman system, it basically has a thing where you parry attacks. It's very parry focused, and when you parry, you get like these charges, and then you do a move where you dash through them, leaving a talisman on them, and then you can detonate it for like a crap ton of damage. And as you level up, you get like different ways of doing that. So now I have one that I really like, actually, where I can dash through, and if I hold it, I'll detonate like all the ones I have stored up, so it's really, really massive damage.
Yeah.
Great, that feels so much better than whatever it was before. I genuinely don't know how it worked originally. This is just so much better, and I'm probably never going to change.
You'll change. That one's
Oh,
useless
yeah?
against the final boss.
No!
I mean, the final boss in that game, I have not faced yet, but you guys have both said, you and Alex Caleb both said it was like,
It is an enormous step up in difficulty.
yeah.
That's
And
stupid.
also almost ruined the game for you, right, Alex?
Yeah.
That's annoying.
I don't think Charlie switched talismans.
Oh,
When he-
really?
when he fought her.
Man. That one's so bad against. You just have no time to get it off. Ever.
Yeah.
Gotta find the 2 areas in her chain of attacks where you can do it.
But I can just do it anytime with the other one.
Yeah.
Anytime I got full charges, just boop.
I do find it very
Yeah.
annoying that the different talisman types are linked into the skill tree.
Yeah.
So I've got to like there's one where this might be the one that's good against the final boss, but where you dash through and you don't have to activate it. It just after a while it'll just
Yeah.
go off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't really like obvious. Maybe I'll change my tune later, but right now I don't have any interest in that one. I like the one I
Yeah.
have, but it's
Mhm.
annoying because I do want upgrades on that side of the tree. So I got to
Yep.
get an ability that I don't freaking want, that I'm literally never gonna use, except for maybe when it forces my hand, just to get like the extra damage upgrade or whatever. Like that's kind of annoying.
I feel like that
whatever.
usually happens in any kind of skill tree. There's always something
guess.
you don't want that's required to get something you do want.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
It's just that one's quite a ways up it, I think.
Yeah,
Right
and
near
it's,
the
it's
beginning.
expensive too. I think it
Mhm.
costs like
Inexpensive,
2 or
yeah.
3. Yeah.
And by the end of the game, you've well, you've done that whole tree. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured looking at it, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm probably going to completely fill this out, or at least all the parts that matter to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't complain too much.
it becomes a non-issue later, but
Yeah, it's annoying early. It's a really fun game, really good.
It's another one that just looks gorgeous.
Yes. Oh my god, the art is insanely good.
super polished.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
It feels incredible.
Yeah.
Play.
It is.
That,
it's
that
some-
one's very combat focused as opposed to the.
Yes. There's the in between boss fights it's pretty much just combat. It almost pretends like it's going to have like a stealth system, but it's really just I mean if you walk behind an enemy, you can hit them when they don't know you're there. But that's not a stealth system, my guys. That's nothing.
You get extra damage for that.
I mean you do. I still wouldn't call it a stealth system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting is when you like parry but you don't hit the timing perfectly, it basically just takes your health but it can't kill you, which is interesting. Like it does come back over time, but I've noticed if you're in like a boss fight, that
doesn't.
health basically is gone. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I mean?
basically
Like
gone.
because I was getting
There-
really frustrated. Like oh my god, I don't have time to heal, and eventually I was like, I'm just gonna live life on the edge. I just have one health from now on.
Yeah.
I think there's ways to mitigate that both in the skill tree and in the sort of charm system.
Yeah, I
But,
did
yeah.
already see one where I was like, oh, I can maybe speed that up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
And
that's.
I think it actually does make a big difference.
Oh, does it? Okay, interesting.
There are several upgrades that are different ways to get back that missing fake health.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
Mental is it mental damage? Sorry.
I
I
think it
don't
literally
remember.
calls it. It might
Internal
literally
damage.
call it
Internal. Yeah.
internal.
Internal damage.
Go on.
Ben,
me?
what have you been playing?
Hello. I've played several things since last time I was on here. I'm going to skip over. I played some more Skyrim. That was weeks ago. I can't even remember what I was doing. So, quick one
Hey.
first that everybody on this cast has already played, except for me, is Caleb and Jake got me playing Risk of Rain 2 this past week. We played some multiplayer of that, and then since then I've played a bunch of single player of it because I'm trying to unlock some more of the classes. Really fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think has everybody here played that already? I'm assuming.
not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Aaron's not.
It
Aaron
is
hasn't.
You haven't played it at all?
We should make
very
Aaron play
fun.
Yeah, we should.
I've
It
not.
is and anybody can step in to correct me here, but it is a third-person shooter basically, where you get dropped into a random map and there are aliens that you have to shoot, and you shoot them to get money, which you can then use to open boxes, which get you items, which are your upgrades basically. And the goal of the game is you're trying to get through several of these zones to get to the end of it. You have to balance out, you want to kill enemies to get money to upgrade your items, but the longer you spend on a level, the harder the enemies get, and that passes on to future levels also. So you have to balance between trying to go through the levels quickly, but if you go too fast, you're not going to have your items upgraded well enough, so that way when you get to bosses, you're going to get your ass kicked. And then basically at the end of every level, there's a teleporter you activate, and then a big boss shows up. You have to kill the boss and then charge up the teleporter to go to the next level. Very, very fun. I have not beaten it completely yet, even in the single player ones, which I'm embarrassed about because after
It's
Jake
a
and
tough
Caleb
game, man.
after Jake and Caleb told me on easy mode, it is laughably easy.
Oh.
I was playing
Oh my
some
gosh.
easy mode to get unlocks, and I still have not beaten it.
Mm.
I have gotten some difficult unlocks, which makes me feel slightly better.
Nice.
But,
Have you gotten to
My
the final
slight
boss?
defense on that is that I've been playing on Steam Deck, so I've just been playing the Archer, who has like auto lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because I'm like, I am not aiming on a Steam Deck with anything else. So
That's fair.
I think I just need to play some more PC time, and mouse and keyboard will probably win me through that. But it is a blast. I'm having a lot of fun single player, and I'm looking forward to finding some time to make a bunch of people play multiplayer with me again.
Have you made it to the last boss?
I don't think I have yet. No.
Okay.
Who's your favorite character so far?
Well, since I played
Huntress.
with you, I've only played
Okay.
the Archer because
Only
I've
played
been
the
on
Archer.
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I looked at everybody. Went, these guys look really fun. I cannot play them with a controller to save my life. I'm not even gonna try it.
Yeah. I want to play more of that game. I haven't played much of
surprised.
that DLC yet.
That game runs well on Steam Deck.
It runs great. Yeah,
Does
I mean,
it? Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. again, aiming would be rough, but for the archer, it's running perfectly fine. Like, I'm not
Yeah, I'm surprised it
noticing
doesn't
any
have
frame
performance
drops
issues.
or.
Yeah.
No, I mean, granted, I've been on easy, which means that like I've never hit a difficulty level where like there's a ton of enemies on the map, but
Mhm.
I've noticed no problems.
Nice.
So, but I've unlocked like the loader, the robot guy who's melee.
Nice. Loader's
I
fun.
unlocked a couple other guys, but looking forward to trying them out if I can get some people for multiplayer again.
Heck yeah, dude.
Second thing I've been playing a ton of is Satisfactory. I think several people on here have played before, but I don't know if anybody else has played since they did the full 1.0 release.
Mhm.
Super good, very fun. I'm loving it. I unfortunately I didn't play much pre 1.0 release, so I don't have a whole lot to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
But for anybody who doesn't know what it is basically, if you've ever played Factorio, it's that but first person. You are dropped on an alien planet, basically told, hey, mine stuff, and the goal is you're trying to like build a giant space station effectively to eventually get the planet ready for human habitation. And you do that you start out by just like manually, you're mining iron, you're mining copper, and then you're crafting things. But then it very quickly gets into, okay, you want to automate everything. It's very much like, oh, well, you're going to build a machine that automatically smelts the iron for you. And then you can have conveyor belts leading into another machine that crafts the iron into like iron plates and things like that. And it gets very detailed into very complicated like factory setups. I love that sort of thing. I very much enjoy it. I am the guy who I used to play modded Minecraft versions where I would spend most of my time just automating building of things instead of actually playing, the game. So I'm out of a blast with it. They do a really good thing of that. There's tech tiers that you go through, and there's like an AI that is kind of sassy and entertaining that will, when you unlock stuff and find new stuff, they'll give little like voice comments on things, which keeps it interesting. They do a good job of sort of spacing out the upgrades and the unlocks that really makes you feel like it doesn't just dump you in and go automate things. It very much gives you that sort of like, oh, I gotta hit this next little goal, and it's like, oh, well, I can craft the things I need for it, but I need 1,000 of them, and I'm not gonna manually craft those. So I'm gonna get my whole automation set up for that. And as soon as you got that finished, it's like, okay, now the next goal requires you use those things you just set up for like the new system, and it's really good at slowly ramping you into stuff.
I like when they have those kind of incremental goals throughout.
Yeah,
it's not just do it all.
Yeah, it does a very good job of like the first tier is like, okay, you gotta manually craft like you need 60 of these things, which you can craft by yourself. You can, walk up and manually do it. And then the next tier is like, okay, now you need 1,000 of these things. You're gonna have to automate this. And then the next tier is like, now you need 60 of a higher end thing, but it requires the previous thing. So it does a really good job of like leading you into it. Huge map. It's really pretty graphics. I don't know. I can't say enough about this. This is going to be on my game of the year for the end of the year. I would recommend it for a lot of people. That being said, it is very much you go in with the mindset of like, I'm trying to like optimize and like make things efficient and if that's not your deal, I wouldn't go into it.
The problem is also like personalities can really clash in this. Like if you end up with somebody who's very OCD about layouts.
It is multiplayer.
What are you talking about?
I have only played single player, but it is multiplayer. Yeah. I could definitely see personalities clashing. I have literally talked with a friend about this, and I was like, the only way I could play this multiplayer with you is if we split the map in half and agree to do completely separate things the entire time. Because
100%.
I do not think that I could cooperatively build a single factory with another person. It would
you walk over and you're like, why are you doing it?
It would be
this
crazy.
way?
Yeah.
Oh, that is the most. That gets me hot. Woo! I'm already sweating.
I love like once you problem solve something and then you get a new element or piece of equipment or something, you're just like, oh god, I have to like almost erase everything to put this somewhere. That's where it just screws me up.
Heck yeah.
It can get frustrating, but I like it a lot. if that's the sort of thing you like, I'd say go for it. I know I've talked to Jake about this outside of the cast already, and I think about like 10 seconds into the description, he went, "Nope, not touching it."
Yeah, that is not right.
Which is fair. It's not for
But-
everybody.
But Jake, you could just be the hunter. You know, Ben will do all the guns and stuff, and then you just go and kill aliens.
There is
I mean,
there is
maybe.
there's a lot of exploration. There's a whole lot. There's stuff scattered all around the map. They do a good job of like, basically they have put in what is effectively trophies around the map. But the trophies are rare items that you can use for crafting stuff. So, like for example, there's one thing which, for those of you who haven't played since 1.0 came out, a new thing they released is there's orbs. They added in orbs. But
it
there are
Bungie?
orbs. What'd you say?
Is this Bungie? Who's making this?
But
No,
there are
Bungie's
these
balls.
alien orbs scattered around the map, and you can use those for crafting. And the main thing you can do is you can create dimensional storage with them. So you can have your factory feeding stuff into the dimensional storage, and you can just access that no matter where you are on the map.
Oh wow.
And then there's an upgrade tree, because you start out with only being able to hold like 100 of a single thing in that dimensional storage, and then you can use those orbs to upgrade it to hold more and more of it. So it does a really good thing of like if I'm exploring around the map and I see one of these, I get pumped because A, they're hard to find, and B, once you get it, you can upgrade to use really useful stuff. So I like that it kind of made the collectibles part of the game that you're actually using. Like I had a lot of fun in like Spider-Man, like finding the collectibles, but once you find, they're more just for collecting, you know, they don't do anything. Versus in this game, they're actually like part of the system, part of your upgrades and tech tree and stuff.
Game is
Have,
cool.
have you gotten to the zip lines? You have zip lines?
I have not done that
Bro.
yet. No.
Yeah.
You don't even
I
need zip
saw a
lines in that
guy-
game anymore. You just make those tubes with the speed accelerators on them, and you put a slight ramp at the end, and you just throw yourself
Well, I
across
know
the map.
a lot of people, and I don't know if this was in the earlier game, but you can get basically a hover pack that lets you just like fly as long as
Oh.
you're hooked up to your electric system. There, eventually you can get a jetpack too that uses fuel that you can fly anywhere, but there's a lower tier one that's just as long as you're within range of one of your power lines, you can just fly like wherever.
I saw a guy who figured out with the zip lines that you can be on the zip line, jump off, create a new one, and land on the new one and keep going. He would just like zip across the map everywhere he's not been.
Wow.
Basically the same thing
Pretty
with the
good.
hover pack. People have been like, oh, as long as you just keep making new power lines that align ahead of you, you could just keep using the jetpack, the hover pack.
In a early version of the game, slide jumping was busted, and as if you had unlimited frame rate and you had high frames, and you did a slide jump, you could just clear the map.
Wow.
That's not it anymore. Slide jumping is still definitely faster than regular sprinting. Like that, like I have the crouch jump on. I think I'm just doing that when I'm sleeping now. I'm doing it so often.
Yeah.
So that's definitely still in the game as a way to move faster, but no, it's not jumping you off the map anymore.
I highly recommend a YouTube channel called Let's Game It Out and his recent
Yeah,
Satisfactory
it's so
video.
good. It's all of his videos are excellent.
I'll have to check that out. I'm still going through. I will say, I've been really careful. I've been watching a lot of videos on like people recommending like how to like optimize like setups and stuff. But every time I cut it off before they get past me in the game in terms of tech tree every time, because I'm like, I don't want to spoil myself for what happens at least.
This
Oh,
is
Sorry about spoilers for zip lines.
No, it's
this,
okay.
this is the
Some
most
stuff I just know, like
optimized
the jet-
factory.
like the hover packs and jetpacks. I know about those. I haven't gotten to them yet, but it's more like I just started like working on like steel production, and I know there's a bunch of like metals and things you get after that, but I haven't looked at any of it yet.
Gotcha.
Alex, are you talking about the Vertical Factory video?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. What a great channel.
The last thing I started playing was a game called Economics, or Economics, however you'd pronounce that. I spelled it in there. It's ECOGNOMIX. It is about a 75% roguelite and 25% city builder.
No way.
That's weird.
I know, it's shocking. So basically what this game is you are controlling basically a town of gnomes, effectively, they find these old mines, and they go down in the mines, and you are trying to get resources from down there. For some reason, and I don't know why they did this, the resource you're getting in the mines is wood. You are cutting down trees that are growing in the mines. I don't know why you don't just mine stone. That would
Because
make more
that's
sense.
hilarious.
But it's trees.
It's the funniest thing I've heard all day. That's great.
There are no trees on the surface. It's just empty.
I don't know.
You go into the mines, there's trees everywhere.
So the way the game works is it's kind of like almost a tactical game. So you go down and there's a mine level with a layout, and there's trees, and then there's chickens, because there's also chickens in the mines for some reason.
They live in the trees.
And you have
Mine.
and you have different units that you can basically purchase using wood to drop into the grid. The units will then, it's a turn-based system where the units will automatically act however that particular unit is. So like a base unit you have is like the like the forester, who if you drop him next to trees and you hit go for the turn, he will cut down trees next to him. And every unit gets like 7 actions on a turn. So you try to plan out like, oh, you want to be like near enough trees that he doesn't waste actions effectively. And then you've got other units that are like hunters that will shoot the chickens to get meat out of them. The reason that's relevant is because every turn you go, there are bats in the caves, which will then come in and steal some of the meat from you. You run out of meat, the bats attack you, and you get sent back up to the surface. So it becomes
bats in a cave. I mean, it
I
makes
know,
no
it's
sense.
Doesn't make any
That's
sense.
dumb.
The chickens would eat them all.
Yeah. The game is a little silly,
Alpha predator.
as you can tell. But it becomes this concept. It becomes this interesting thing where you're trying to get the wood while also getting enough meat to survive the bats. And then you hit a point where you're like, okay, it's not worth sticking around, and you can go down a level to another level of the mine. And it becomes this kind of going further and further down as you're trying to get wood while also keeping up with the bats. And then as you go on, there's also shops in the mine where you can upgrade your units to do better. And then eventually there are also like little mini bosses that you can fight, or at the end of the mine, there's a big boss that you have to fight.
Is traversing the mine levels like a Slay the Spire kind of
Slay the Spire, yeah. So
thing? That's what it looks like.
you start at 1, but then as you go down there, it branches, so you can pick what route you take through the mines.
Gotcha.
Eventually, there's other mines you can go in. I have not gotten that far yet, but once you have run out of meat or beaten the boss of the mine, it takes you back up to the surface, where you have basically it's a pretty basic level 1, but it is a city layout where you can put down buildings that will start to refine the wood or meat or other resources you find. There's gold also you can find while you're down there, and you can use those to purchase upgrades or other buildings and things like that. So it's kind of this loop of you go through the mines to get resources, go back to the city to build stuff, and then once you run out, you go back to the mines to get resources. And it's kind of this back and forth loop that is actually really entertaining. I mean, I don't normally like tactical games very much, but I'm having a lot of fun with this one. Just the planning the layout of like, okay, well, I gotta if I'm putting this guy here, he can get 7 wood, and then I put this guy here to get enough meat to feed the bats, and then I hit a point where I'm just like, okay, I can't get enough meat to feed the bats, so I might as well just go down a level at this point. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I've been playing it on Steam Deck mostly, which it runs great on. No complaints there. It's got good controls on Steam Deck. I'm happy with it. I'd recommend it. I don't remember how much it is, although
20.
I guess you guys can access it. It's 20 right now.
20.
I'd say it's worth $20. I mean, I wouldn't pay 20 is about the limit of what I'd pay for this, but you guys can obviously check it out from the family share that we've all got hooked up to. I'd
Okay.
recommend it for anybody who's interested in either like tactics games or roguelike games. I think it'd be fun. And the tutorial at the beginning gets you into it pretty much immediately, so you get a feel for pretty early if it's a sort of game you'll enjoy or if you want to set it down. You don't have to like give it hours of time in order to figure out if you like it or not.
I need to read this review that I saw. Game isn't for me, but otherwise I saw nothing wrong with it, so I'll give it a thumbs up. I didn't realize it was a puzzle Punisher game, and I don't like those types of games. However, I think the graphics are quite awesome, and for somebody who enjoys the punishment these types of games dish out, sure, it will be an enjoyable experience for them. In this game's case, it's the ever-increasing amount of food the bats take from you if you don't play the
Yep.
game correctly, quote unquote.
The every level you go down, the bats start taking more and more food per level. So if you're not playing well, you can very quickly hit a point where they just eat all your food and you're just done. You're back up to the surface. And you don't like lose resources or anything. It's just, oh, okay, now you reset your run, like, and you start again. So it's not that punishing. And a full run from like top of the mine to the bottom takes maybe half an hour. It's not a huge time input.
Cool.
But yeah, I'd recommend it. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Well, if you made it this far into the cast, wow. Impressed. Congratulations. If
Those
you
were one of our
haven't,
shorter ones,
shame
right?
on us, but we're not going to change anything. So, it may end up like this next time. If you're still here, you're still listening, reminder, this Saturday and Sunday, we're doing Extra Life Game Days from 9 a.m. to midnight Central Time, even though I still have Eastern Standard Time written there. 9 a.m. to midnight Central
There
Time.
might be some bonus content 7 a.m. to 9, right?
Chad was messaging me while we were talking. And he's like, "Yo, you want to go to play disc golf and live stream it?"
That morning.
Yeah.
We could
Anyway.
have just done a full 24 hours straight stream if you guys just didn't want to sleep.
hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have brought it up.
Anyway, please join us. Please donate Extra Life. Even if you don't donate to us, donate to somebody. This goes to Children's Miracle Network.
Us.
Helps kids in schools.
Should
Yes,
be
I would
us,
love the
though.
donation.
It would be cool if it was us.
Yeah.
My
it would be
Cash
cool.
App is. No.
I'll
Anyway,
definitely
thanks so much
pour
for
it
joining us.
along.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
But